welcome to Doors and Corners, a sci-fi and fantasy film commentary podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach. And every Friday we sit down and watch a science fiction or fantasy film and give our 2 cents on its quality, production, story, and trivia.
We watch the film together, but without sounds or visuals provided to avoid copyright issues. But if you do have access, we encourage you to join us and follow along.
Here, we like to keep things casual, and there may be discussions of spoilers or sensitive materials or language. But we do try and keep things clean and family-friendly. Ultimately, the goal of this podcast is to create the experience of us all sitting down and watching this movie together.
So get ready to hit that play button, because we're about to get started.
Damn Doors and Corners, that's where they get you.
Welcome back to Doors and Corners. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
And
what are we watching today, Brian?
Well, we're going to go to The Island.
The Island? You mean the action-adventure thriller film from 1980 starring Michael Caine and David Warner about a whole bunch of pirates and outcasts and thieves and murderers who are hidden from the outside world by an uncharted Caribbean island and have raided boats to sustain themselves for over 300 years?
David Warner is a heck of a Star Trek vet, so I'm down for that movie.
Apparently it's awful and one of the biggest bombs of the 1980s.
Really?
Which is
Michael Caine, and they're good actors. Michael
Caine was in Jaws 3, dude.
Yeah, that's true. He's been in some bad movies. He's a very good actor, but he's been in some stinkers. It is an undeniable fact.
$15 million on a budget of 22. Okay, this is not the Island from 1980s. We are actually watching 2005's.
This movie, though, did not do well either.
Michael Bay. No, it did not.
Yeah.
On a budget of approximately $126 million, it made $162 million, which is a fun little reversing.
Worldwide. Like, that's not just in the States. For Michael Bay, that would have been okay if it was just the States, but
it was the marketing.
Yeah,
I remember
he gets mad about that, right? In interviews.
He is, and he wasn't even the one who necessarily brought up the marketing. It's been talked about a little bit, but I remember from my own experience being 14 years old when this movie came out and seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi and this gorgeous blonde in this sci-fi thing, and it's just it immediately jumped out to me as looking kind of interesting, but then it just, the previews were confusing and they kept having these punchlines almost. I specifically remember this one moment with Steve Buscemi, and it's the moment where he's showing Scarlett Johansson the bags, she's purses for girls, backpacks for boys, and she's like, we're not stupid, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, miss, I can't wait to go to the island. And that was supposed to mean something to the movie, but it's the trailer. So what? It was so alienating.
Yeah, this was a movie that I saw this in theaters purely because Ewan McGregor was somebody who, this is post prequels. He's, like you said, he's Obi-Wan. He's really he's become very known, and this was at a point in Michael Bay's career where, the first Transformers film had been made, right? I'm not crazy.
No. This is actually where the first Transformers film came from.
Okay.
This is the movie that united him with Steven Spielberg and with Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah, okay. I knew this was okay. So, but this was, my point is, this was the era where Michael Bay was still pretty much, doing bangers.
Marketable?
We've mentioned this on the podcast. We will get to the movie at some point. I'm a big fan of Armageddon. I don't care what you say. I know it's flawed. I freaking love that movie. The Rock is good. Bad Boys is... I enjoyed them. I don't love them, but I enjoyed them for what they were. And Pearl Harbor is a movie that has many, many flaws, but I will still, to a certain extent, defend as being quite an achievement. The attack itself is amazing. It is so well done. And I still remember the trailer for that movie. We're never going to watch that movie because it's not a genre film, so I can talk about it for a second. The trailer for that movie made me so just emotional because it was using music that was from Hans Zimmer from A Thin Red Line. No, it wasn't Hans Zimmer. Was that Hans Zimmer? No, it was somebody else. That sounds like Hans Zimmer. Anyways, really good music. And the tracking shot of the bomb going down towards Arizona was just one of those It's a movie that, as much as it deserves a lot of the crap it gets, it's not a movie that by any means made me go, oh gosh, what happened to this guy? Like, how could, like, a lot of people responded very negatively to that, and that's fine. I'm not gonna, like, fight with anybody about that, but it didn't diminish my appreciation for him as a filmmaker. And so when this movie came out, I actually was like, I don't even know what it's about, but it's got Obi-Wan in it, and it's Michael Bay's making it, so I'm sure it's going to be fun. And I just went blind to the theater, and I enjoyed myself quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's a movie that I have a lot of criticisms for. Like, this is not even remotely like one of his best movies. It's definitely not his worst movie either. Like, I mean, this movie is unfairly maligned, I think, a little bit, but at the same time, it's not, it's not The Rock, like, which I still think is probably his best movie. 13 Hours. Some of those, really, like, he's made some genuinely good movies. But this movie, there's a lot about it I like a lot. And I liked it in theaters, and I remember enjoying it and telling people, like, just if you want a good time with, and I love science fiction, right? So, who is, I feel like an idiot. I already forgot because I looked it up like 20 minutes ago. The main, like, the mercenary that's chasing them, that actor.
Djimon Hounsou.
Yeah. He's awesome. And this was kind of...
dude. I love Djimon Hounsou. Yeah. And, I, as a joke, because I could not pronounce his name, I called him Digimon Handsoap for several years. And I love that man.
Oh, yeah.
He has been in some bad movies.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in some good movies. He's never been bad in a role.
Yeah.
And he never got like a big leading role, and part of that is his accent, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he's so good.
He's really good. I mean, he's been good in so many things. And this was another, I think it was an interesting performance. There's definitely, and we'll talk about it as we go through it, the major complaints I have about this movie is that it has some, for being 2 hours and 10 minutes long, or 2 hours and, I don't know, what is this, 2 hours? It's more than 2 hours.
13 minutes.
13 minutes. It doesn't flesh out its ideas as much as I would like, including like his turn and a few things. It gave you enough. It's not like it's out of nowhere. I wish that it did more with its premise. But again, and I'll just say this about Michael Bay in general, one of the reasons I defend him is it pisses me off when people critique film for not being what they wanted it to be, instead of being what it set out to be. Michael Bay, he said this in many, many interviews. He's like, I make movies for like teenage boys, like sue me, basically. he is famous for being a little bit of a dick. Although there's plenty of actors who defend him as being great to work with. There are as many people that complain about him. I could bring up other people who've said, no, he's just intense. He loves what he does. He's a perfectionist, and he's just I mean, people rave about Nolan. And like he's famous, right? That like no phones on his set and no chairs, and like that Nolan's all about like this intense work environment where like it's about the film and we gotta make, and right, like that's like famous about Nolan at this point, and nobody criticizes him of being like a tyrant. It's funny to me that Michael Bay is like people, because they just don't like his movies, he kind of gets the opposite, even though he's takes his filmmaking very seriously.
He does. The thing is, Michael Bay, he fits in a category in my mind of essentially he is really good when he's not part of the writing process.
That is true.
I think of him in the same category that I think of J.J. Abrams.
Oh, it's not who I was going to say.
Oh, who'd you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Zack Snyder, because I think of them very
No,
similarly.
that was coming up right after.
Okay.
I was literally saying J.J. Abrams and Zack Snyder.
Well, there you go.
These are people, they know how to pace a movie. They know how to shoot a movie to make it look beautiful. And in a lot of ways, they know how to get really good. They work really well with their musical department, with their cinematographers, and they can get really good performances out of their actors.
I'm glad you said that. I was just about to say they do pull some great performances out of actors.
Oh my god! Like, okay, for example, I love Zachary Quinto as Spock in the 2009 reboot Star Trek trilogy. I think that he did a really good job, but you can see that only in not only in certain moments, in a lot of moments, but then all of a sudden it will shift, and suddenly he's a little bit more of a petulant child, And I don't think that's the actor's fault at all. I think that's entirely the direction and script.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't work with what that character should be, which is unfortunate. And Michael Bay is very similar to that. I recently saw an interview with Michael Shannon, who was in what's the movie I'm talking about? Pearl Harbor. And
that's right. He was one of the mechanics or something, right?
No, he was the other pilot.
He was a pilot.
He's the one who gets shot and killed down. Shot down and killed before taking off. Before Ben Affleck.
I remember him being in the group with Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett, like in the group of people on the island. So yeah.
But he was talking about how they were doing this audition and script reading and everything like that, and he's just like, essentially, they were told to just riff and ad-lib because nobody wanted to read the script or speak the words on the script because the script was so awful. It was utter garbage. And so the movie ended up, he's just like, yeah, Michael Bay's just sitting there going, oh, that's great. You're so good at this. You're really funny. We'll definitely have to put that in. And he's like, yeah, I'm glad I'm able to provide something comedic for this movie based on one of our worst national tragedies.
Yeah. No, I definitely will not even try to say Michael Bay is without fault. He is, and writing is one of them. But anybody who tries to act like he's a hack or like somehow an untalented filmmaker, I'm like, just get over the fact he doesn't make Oscar movies. It's fine. He knows how to move a camera around. He knows how to make something look really, really cool. And yeah, there's a lot of explosions. Again, I think Michael Bay, he's to explosions what Zack Snyder is to slow-mo, right?
That fits. I just think that he's not worthy of an Oscar, but he also deserves better than like Transformers 4.
Well, I would never hold him up. I could see like a cinematography or like something about the visuals or just like the technical. I could definitely get behind Michael Bay winning a technical, like one of his movies winning a technical achievement. It would be crazy if everyone Best Director. I'm not even remotely trying to go that far.
That'd be like The Rock winning Best Actor.
Yeah. Well, he got nominated.
No, he didn't.
For Smashing Machine, didn't he?
No.
Did he not get nominated? Or was that...
Nope. Big upset for some people.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's funny. I think I just stopped thinking. Okay, never mind. Sidetracked. But he is... and I know we're kind of talking about Michael Bay here a little bit, but that's part of this whole thing.
He directed the movie.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to getting to some of his other films, too, because, again, he's somebody who has a lot of criticisms, but I also think deserves some defending against some of the criticisms, although some of the later Transformers films, I can't defend those. They're a little rough.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
But yeah. What are the rest of the... what are your... Any other thoughts before we get going, or you want to get into the...
I'm going to jump straight into the details here, and then we'll get into the thoughts, because this movie, I think, is actually his worst-paced movie.
It does struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's got some slumps, but this is The Island from the year 2005. So far back ago, 21 years ago. Rated PG-13, 2 hours and 16 minutes long. Directed by Michael Bay, written by Caspian Treadwell Owen, which is just such a great name. As well as Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi, who for years I called him Robert Orsi, which is just crazy.
Rest in peace.
Starring, of course, Scarlett Johansson, Ewan McGregor, Djimon Hounsou, Sean Bean, and Steve Buscemi. And this is one of those movies that just has kind of a who's who of little roles, because I will say honorable mentions for Michael Clarke Duncan.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Brian Stepniak.
Yeah. Michael Clarke Duncan's little role was genuinely like good.
Oh, super memorable.
Yeah. Like I actually, when I watched this for the first time in a while, I forgot he was in it so little because I remembered him very specifically because he's memorable in the little bit of screen time he gets.
Yep. Also starring Ewan McGregor.
This is it's interesting
You'll
that
get
this
that joke when you watch the movie.
All right. Yes, I know. Plus, you get both of his accents.
Yeah.
It's interesting because this is the intersection between when he was kind of at his peak of pop culture status, and Scarlett Johansson was just starting on hers. This pre-MCU. When was The Prestige?
Yeah, this
made?
was just after. This was before The Prestige. This was just after what's considered like her big breakout role. Which
Bill
was
Murray,
that
right?
one.
Was that the Bill Murray one
Bill Murray.
in Tokyo? What was that?
Yeah, why can I not think of the name?
It's it's like a rom-com,
right
like a weird one, right? What is wrong with us? We're bad
because
film.
I remember like she had these small roles in these like really weird unknown movies, things like Home Alone 3, okay? Home Alone 3 and Eight-Legged Freaks, that one like faux
Lost in
horror
Translation
action movie. Lost in Translation. Yeah, she went from Eight-Legged Freaks, the giant spider monster movie that's like a raunchy comedy mixed with a monster movie, and the very next movie she makes is Lost in Translation. Okay, and then she was kind of everywhere for a second. I mean, she was in The Island, The Girl with the Pearl Earring. She was in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Black Dahlia, The Prestige, The Nanny Diaries, the other Boleyn Girl, and right before Iron Man 2, she was in The Spirit, which genuinely almost killed her career.
Oh, that was that awful Frank Miller. It was.
We should add that along with The Shadow and all that later.
Because it's I've seen the first Sin City. That's the only one of those that I've seen, but that's in the same kind of visual style, right?
No, this is The Spirit was the only movie that was actually directed by Frank Miller himself. It is a work of art in how bad it is.
Okay. Didn't it have Sam Jackson in it?
Yes, he was the octopus and was constantly joking about having like 8 penises.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, because I was looking here, Prestige is the next year. That was 2006. So she immediately, started working with some pretty big names. Yeah, but then Iron Man 2 was, what was that, 2010? Right?
2010, correct.
Yeah. So, and she's, I don't think that she's the greatest thing ever like some people do, but like she's a very solid actress. And
yeah, she's fine. Any movie that she's in, it could go either way, between being something genuinely a masterpiece like The Prestige to something middle of the road like The Island, or
we can do
the
Lucy.
single worst MCU movie, Black Widow, or something like Jurassic Park Rebirth. So
are we gonna do Lucy one of these days?
Maybe. Is that the one where she was the alien that's like naked half the movie?
No. This is somebody finally made the movie about the very misunderstood, common known thing that we only use 10% of our brain, and if we only use the other 90%, we would be gods. Right. Like that, people just have been misunderstanding that idea for a long time, and it was the movie of that.
Yes, I remember that, because that even had freaking Morgan Freeman in the trailer going, "We only use like 10% of our brain." But yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, it was. Okay. I saw it once.
That I'm thinking of, there was this one movie that she was in where she played like a weird alien, Under the Skin. That was it, which just weird. And I thought that it was like just an alien movie, but it turned out to be like some almost artistic take on like Species. And I turned it off. Did you ever see Jojo Rabbit?
I have not. I've heard that I probably should, even though I have a...
Oh my God. Now that's a masterpiece. That's the reason why Taika Waititi keeps being given stuff. It's not Thor Ragnarok. It's Jojo Rabbit.
Did you ever see Her? I know it's not necessarily your type of movie, but did you ever watch that?
I saw some of it, watching it with our mutual friend, Dan. Yeah. And it was fine. It just wasn't my thing. I found it very boring and pretentious, while also acknowledging that it was a very good and well-made movie.
Yeah, like you said, I know it's not your type of movie. She was because she was like a last minute, like they literally recorded, I think, the entire thing with a different voice actress, and they were like, it's not working, and they got her, and it's a big part of what makes that movie work. I also have a tremendous amount of respect for Joaquin. So, anyways, enough talking about Scarlett Johansson. This movie. Any other notables?
No.
Okay. This is only one version of this movie. It's currently on Amazon Prime, which is where I'm watching it. I'm assuming that's where you're watching it.
Me too.
And we are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, go.
Play.
This is like you mentioned this earlier with Steven Spielberg, that you see DreamWorks right here. That I had forgotten that Michael Bay, and that's another thing I will defend about Michael Bay, is he had people who were very respected in the film industry, want to work with him, and that doesn't just it's not an accident. It doesn't just happen.
No,
Steven Spielberg is and he doesn't bat he doesn't hit a homer every single time, but he's obviously a very talented filmmaker, and he wouldn't just like randomly be like, yeah, sure, and want to work again with him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like just the visual of this, the oversaturation, the kind of it's like being attacked by color. It's like if they turned the Great British Bake Off into an action movie. Just so saturated.
Yeah, when I watched this the other night,
so well at that.
Yeah, when I watched this the other night, it was the first time I'd watched this in a long, long time, and I now have like a really nice OLED TV, and I did like immediately hit me with just the just the visual. Yeah, it's oversaturated. The camera's always moving. Even here, like the tiny little bit of like, I don't know what you would call it, like blurring out the corners at the very beginning here to kind of maybe give the illusion of it being. I know you're not a big dream sequence fan.
This is the type of dream sequence that really works, though. It's this opening. I like the music, which I want to talk about the music in a moment. But this works for me because he doesn't keep having this like horrible dream, and it works with the plot in a very interesting way. Yeah. It's not just a dream sequence for the sake of a dream sequence. Also, I feel like this was inspired by Minority Report with the whole like the death of the one chick who was drowned. It looked very much like that.
It might have very well been, because Minority Report was 2 or 3 years before this. It was early 2000s.
3 years before this.
Yeah. When the
this is also important to the plot and makes so much more sense watching it over a second time once you understand what it is you're seeing. So this is a dream sequence that doesn't bother me at all. In fact, Michael Bay had to fight to keep this in because supposedly the producers or the production company thought that it was too weird and hated it and wanted a completely different opening.
Who knew? I just got reverse flushed out of my toilet bed.
Right? It does feel kind of like reverse toilet.
I would be curious how they shot that with him. Oh man.
It's going to be a one reverse shot that they comp in with another reverse shot. So it's going to be 2 different things. It's not like they flushed him with water. Now, this beginning, the first 30 to almost like 40 minutes of this movie is very much like it feels like a 60s science fiction.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, the part of... You could say that there's a reason for that. Did you happen to read about the film called Parts: The Clonus Horror?
No, I did not.
It's a 1979 film that is not very good. It was made on a budget of $350,000 and made over $3 million at the box office. But it's kind of forgotten and been shown on things like Mystery Science Theater 3000 to be made fun of as an old 1979 sci-fi. But it is so similar to this movie in premise that the writer sued DreamWorks and they settled out of court for a 7-figure sum.
Wow.
Like, you read this thing, and it's literally, the film takes place in an isolated desert compound called Clonus, where clones are bred to be used as replacement parts for the elite. The clones are kept isolated from the real world by workers of the colony and are promised to be accepted to move to a promised land of America after they have completed physical training and growth. A group of clones are sent out, and one of them finds out that their bodies are frozen in order to be preserved to use their organs and harvested. Like, that's this movie.
Yeah.
And that's that movie. And they sued, and a judge was just like, holy crap.
This is interesting though. The one thing I will say, this movie does very efficiently tell you about the characters quickly as it goes through the environment, and that's actually one thing that I will say about Michael Bay, especially earlier in his career. He's very good at telling you a lot about people in very short little snippets of time.
That's aided by the fact that his characters tend to be very much caricatures.
Yeah,
they tend not to be the deepest characters ever. And so yeah, it's just kind of one of those things, you know.
It is, but I also think that he helps. It's helped by the fact that there's a lot of them typically, and he gives, like I'm gonna talk about Armageddon for a second. He managed to give most of the crew members, yes, it's one or two notes, but he manages to give everybody something in a way that does help you feel like they are people. Because most people that we interact with on a daily basis have one or two traits that we lock onto, and we don't really get to know them beyond that anyway. So I almost feel like that you're right, but it's also that's kind of how life works, where you find one or two things out about somebody. It's kind of their defining characteristics, and that's the basis of your interaction with them for most of your life.
Yeah.
This guy.
So this actor right here, okay, his name is Brian Stepanek, and he was just kind of the everything in like the 2000s. All right, I remember him as like a recurring background character on the show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. He was in Transformers. He was in so much stuff. He was in CSI Miami, I think. Malcolm in the Middle. Yes, he was definitely Malcolm in the Middle. Just all kinds of things. And he still pops up in all kinds of stuff. He's just one of those background actors. And apparently he's friends with Michael Bay. No, but he's never bad. He's just fun, you know? And he has this just goofy, nerdy look, and he rocks it.
Yeah, he's well, and he's got the very high his
hairline?
A big forehead. His hairline is very high, and he just has a little bit just kind of a quirky mannerism. You can see him playing in a lot of different. He's memorable, but I can see why he never made it, to any kind of headlining level acting.
So supposedly during the dailies that they would be sending over to DreamWorks, Steven Spielberg would be watching this. Steven Spielberg loved Ewan McGregor. He thought that he looked and moved a lot like Harrison Ford, like a young Harrison Ford, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Have they ever really worked together?
Not that I'm aware.
I'm trying to think of a movie that's interesting because I feel like Spielberg's one of those directors that if he asked pretty much any actor on the planet to do something for him, they probably would. So I wonder if he's just never had the right role for him. I really do like Ewan McGregor. I think he's genuinely a fantastic actor who has a lot of range. He can be very serious. He can be very funny. He's handsome without being like too handsome.
No, he's very like upper average looking. He's got that mole. His teeth are a little crooked, but he's also got the eyes and the jaw.
Yeah, he's got a great smile.
Yeah, this is a guy that I could imagine playing a beat cop, and I would actually imagine him as a beat cop.
This lady.
He's not Henry Cavill. He's not the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this lady.
She's great. She was in a bunch of movies. She's like yes, this is a caricature, but she nails it. So just.
She does.
Oh, it's so cute.
You're right though. She's been in so much stuff. I actually looked her up while I was watching this with my wife. She died about 6 years ago. She was 7 years old. But I remember her from just being every now and again, like I said, in so much stuff. I remember her from the show Malcolm in the Middle. She popped up on shows like Chuck that I remember watching. She was in 13 Going on 30 that one of my sisters liked. She was in Bruce Almighty. She's the one who's talking about like losing weight on the Krispy Kreme diet or something like that.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Oh, and Evolution. Did you ever see the movie Evolution? She's literally credited as just customer, but I distinctly remember her in that movie.
Is that the movie? I feel like I've seen the. Is that the one with like the smiley face with like the third eye?
Yes.
And it's.
Have you not seen that movie, Brian?
I don't think if I have, I don't remember it because it's I'm totally blanking on his name from X-Files. What's the actor's name?
David Duchovny.
Okay.
Because it's Evolution shares actually one massive thing in common with this movie in that a lot of their budget came entirely from product placement.
Yeah. Well, Michael Bay is famous for that. He he's not even like shy about it. Like he loves it. Like later in this movie, the car that one-off Cadillac that they have in the chase at the end. Wait, what's that?
Maybe it is a Cadillac.
No, it's a Cadillac because I remember in an interview, Michael Bay, he has, especially during kind of this heyday, right, when he was doing the first Transformers movies and this and a couple others, that he was really good friends with somebody very high up at GM, and he would just like call them and be like, "Hey, you got anything cool you can put in my movie?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, we actually have this like experimental thing," and they'd be like, "Awesome," And he's just like he made personal friends with high ups at certain companies, and they would get excited because he would, they knew that he would make their products look good.
Well, yeah, but and they would contact him, but also before he got into directing movies, he was
commercials and
music video and commercial director, and he worked with a lot of these higher ups and really important movers and shakers.
He did that really famous Aaron Burr Got Milk commercial, right, back in the day.
He did. Oh God, that was so funny.
Aaron Burr. Oh man, way before Hamilton was even a thing.
Yeah, that's actually it's not a real Picasso, but that is supposed to be a Picasso. It's called like Beatrice or something like that, and I don't understand why people like Picasso. I took art history. I get it. I get why he was important. I think they're ugly.
That's all right. Okay, let's talk about Sean Bean for a second, man.
Sean Bean.
He is one of those actors that if he is in a movie, I'm not going to say I'll love it, but I'm always going to be. If you just tell me Sean Bean's in this, I'll be like, okay. I will happily at least look into the film because he's one of those actors that just. I don't know what I'm not even sure how to describe it. He has a presence. He has just a something he does to any movie he's in that makes me want to watch him act.
Yeah. He's got just this natural charisma. There's something to his face, there's something to his voice, the cadence of it.
Yeah.
He just attracts your eye and attention in such a way that makes you want to watch him.
Well, I'm trying to think
so rare and it's so great.
I'm trying to think of an example where they
staple of my childhood. He was in so many movies I grew up watching.
Yeah.
It just
everybody. I'm trying to think of an example where
just talks about Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay. Remind me. I'm trying to think of an example where they didn't have him use his accent. I can't think of one because anybody's like, why would you want to not have him sound like him? He just.
I don't actually know if I've ever seen one where he doesn't use his action.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I mean, because like Ewan McGregor here, I mean, he has a very thick British accent, but here he's doing an American accent.
Ewan McGregor has an Irish accent, doesn't he?
Is it Irish?
Yeah, because Sean Bean, he'll do because I remember he did an Irish accent for Patriot Games.
He also did, wasn't and also in Boondock Saints.
He wasn't in Boondock Saints.
Was he not? Are you sure?
No, he was not. Positive.
All right.
And shepherds we shall be for thee, my lord, for thee. Your power hath descended.
I do love this rant, by the way. There was funny. This rant though of just like why is everything white and why what's going on? What's going on here? I feel like you could. Okay, here's the crazy thing. So before we started recording, Zach and I were talking briefly about the world and the economy and a few things, and we'll get into all that. But I feel like in real life, you with a lot of validity could look around at like modern life and say this and be like, what is going on here? Why is this? Why is that? This doesn't make any sense. What are we all doing? Yeah. And I just the way that he says it, because I think he mixes the perfect amount of kind of childish naiveness with an intellectual honesty that makes sense, if that makes sense. You know, it's like he threads that line really well. It also, I think, makes it believable that later on in the film, he is able to kind of very quickly take on the persona and act like somebody who isn't a clone.
Yeah. It's really helped that like they specifically were coached during these sequences. The clones were to have a childlike nature, both because it's like they are technically very young. They're also kept in such a state that they wouldn't have the need to mature. Everything is kept for them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even their exercise and we saw like UV lights and tanning, so that way they wouldn't have to go outside. It's all kind of that artificial vitamin, you know.
This whole thing too, like you could manipulate somebody into thinking like this is normal, and just like the blatant. It really hurts. No, it doesn't. No, it really does hurt. No, it doesn't. And just the
right,
like, and okay, people who don't like ice stuff, this would definitely be a problem, right?
That's what I was just about to bring up, because guess what my wife doesn't like? There's 3 big things that she really doesn't like in her movies. One is vomiting. The other is eye stuff of any kind, including just a zoom in on an eye she doesn't like, and she doesn't like spiders.
So that really hit 2 of them.
I told her, I'm like, you're going to want to look away at this part, because I remember that, and just like how awful that looked when you growing up watching this movie. This is another one of those movies that's weird. My dad really liked this movie, and so I ended up watching this movie a bunch as a young man. Like, this was one of those movies that if we couldn't really agree what to watch, every now and again I'd be like, let's watch The Island. And, you know, being from a pastor's family, a Michael Bay movie with a Scarlett Johansson sex scene doesn't necessarily seem like something that would have been acceptable, but we also just didn't talk about it.
It's, you know what's funny? I had forgotten, and I know that might seem crazy, I had forgotten that was in here when I watched it, because I watched it with my daughter, who's 17, so she's not like, you know, super young or anything. And I was like, oh, that's right. They do get it on later. I do love when the real Ewan McGregor is like, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Just the idea of just...
Yeah. Okay, and this guy, okay?
Oh, the old IMAX. Right here,
he's just playing...
Sorry.
Well,
it's Ethan Phillips. It's
this new guy that they find. He goes on. He appears in a bunch of stuff. Like was it Community, or was it dang it, my brain is just suddenly. I was going to talk all about this, and now I've.
I mean, you're talking about Ethan Phillips, right?
No, the idiot guy, Ethan Phillips, was on Star Trek Voyager. As the character of Neelix.
That's why I was just saying this is Neelix we just met. So. Okay, you're talking about.
Yes, it is.
You're talking about the guy who is needs help. Guy.
Yes. Is it Victor 3 Echo? No, that's not him. That's totally different.
This is like. Oh, this is a great. Whoever made that prop, this is a weird little side tangent. I've always had a fascination with the props where somebody makes either like a conspiracy page or like a wall. Or anytime somebody needs to create like a really good journal, like the kind of journal that like a genius would have, right? Like a good leather journal, and like you got to write the whole thing out and kind of wear it in and make it seem like it's just been with this person for a long time. I've always thought that kind of a prop is just really cool.
Yeah, there's some of them. Like if you go look at what's the 7. Okay, John Doe has these diaries.
Oh yeah,
that are just insane, and some of them were written for things like the Riddler in The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
that he's just they have people who spend weeks writing those things out.
Yeah, it's just it is very cool. Like I have I mean it's definitely low grade as far as like that level of prop, but I have the collector's edition of Halo Reach with Halsey's journal, the prop of Halsey's journal in it, and like the work that went through to like create that and like make it look like it was handwritten and everything. It's just I love that kind of stuff. It's just cool when it's done well.
Same. I have the two of the journals from the TV show Gravity Falls. I have recreations of that, and they're a little bit less so, but they're still just super fun and have all kinds of cool little things in them, and I love stuff like that. I think that Nathan Phillips, Ethan Phillips, sorry, Ethan Phillips acting in this is genuinely exceptional. Like, he's so good at being this like overly anxious, neurotic clone. He's got the childlike thing going, but you can also tell that he's a genuinely smart dude. He's probably some sort of very important person on the outside, some sort of genius savant type. And I really wish that we could have like been able to see him in his real state, like who he was cloned from. I think that would have been really interesting.
Okay, his boss, by the way, is like the worst. Did he just like not need this key for like the next 2 days or whatever? Because doesn't he keep it for a while?
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things where the writing kind of breaks down if you look too hard at it.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, Sector 6 is a known quantity. Every now and again they'll send a clone out. It would theoretically help to allow them access to stuff like this so they can kind of like sell the illusion of the contamination.
Yeah.
But it's very much obvious we need him to know Steve Buscemi. Let's make sure that he gets there. And let's just make a really stupid scientist, boss guy.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi, he's been in several Michael Bay films, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he's an actor who, this is going to sound weird and maybe even mean. I don't like Steve Buscemi, but there's several performances of his that I do enjoy.
You see, I'm the opposite. There's a couple of movies and stuff that I've seen him in that I don't like. I really like Steve Buscemi. I think that he understands that he is a weird-looking man, and he uses it. I remember seeing, like, I don't like Reservoir Dogs. I actually kind of hate Reservoir Dogs. But I remember seeing him in, like, Fargo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, Spy Kids 2. He has some surprisingly good dialogue in that awful movie. But he's in just some awful movies. But as a person, he's super interesting. Do you know his, like, personal history?
Not very much. I've never really seen a lot of interviews with him. I think it's just the type of character.
He keeps a really low profile. He's super low key.
Yeah.
He was a firefighter in New York.
Really?
And then he became an actor. And he actually, one of the things, it wasn't discovered for a couple of years, but he was in New York on September 11th. He went to the nearest fire station, said, "I'm a firefighter. What do you need me to do?" And he was at Ground Zero working with the New York Fire Department, getting crap done.
Wow.
And he didn't toot his own horn. He didn't go out there being like, "Look what I did." Other people had to be like, "Well, Steve Buscemi was out there." And they're like, "What?" And he still doesn't talk about the stuff very much because he doesn't want to.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I
really like the guy. I think he's great, and I always think he's fun and creepy.
And to be fair, I mean, let me clarify, because anybody who's like looking at their phone going like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? I didn't mean that in any way. Like, I don't like him as a human. I don't know enough about him to like him or dislike him. I didn't know that kind of stuff about you just told me. That's pretty cool. I've never really looked into him. I just mean the majority of his performances are just the type of characters that I just find kind of annoying.
Well, I totally understand what you're saying in that, but part of me is also like, he's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, he is, and he does it well. Like, I've never doubted that he's a good actor. He plays characters that I'm like, eh. And so it's definitely, yeah, he's definitely not somebody I have any like, active, like I have a thing out for. He's it's just not my type of character that I am like looking forward to enjoying. But no, he's very good at it, and that's cool to find out that he's a cool guy. That's always nice to find out, because there's a lot of weirdos who are actors.
Mm-hmm.
Now this whole scene, one thing the movie does, and I actually think this is a little bit smart, the movie doesn't try to keep the secret from the audience. I could see a version of this movie where you try to kind of only give the audience the same information the clones are getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a version of that I think could work, but I like the fact that it's just a straightforward. They're giving you a perspective where you're kind of watching them discover things that you already know, but they're also right away not trying to shy away from the fact that this is messed up.
Yeah,
and a lot of that comes from just the attitude of all the people who work here, right? Like there's just this casualness about it. The entire birthing scene here. The way they treat the clone, they're kind of immediately, and again, this is all very caricature and very basic stuff, but they're so they don't ever let you think that maybe this place has like a valid good reason to exist.
Yeah. Now, I see what you're saying about that, but I actually kind of disagree when you're talking about how they're not hiding it from the audience. They do. This is 25 minutes into the movie, and it's the first time you're really seeing what this is. You know and understand that there's something wrong, that there's something weird going on, but it doesn't it slowly introduces you to the fact that what's going on behind the scenes. You know that there's more because you've had Lincoln's rant, you've had him questioning where did the tubes go. They've created this little bit of mystery, but if you're going into this completely blind, you don't know what's going on. Even here, you don't understand fully what's going on, except that, okay, this is something bad. And
that's fair.
This is the scene where if you extrapolate, you're able to figure out kind of what's going on, that they're growing these people. And because like my wife, she is a very smart woman, but the way that she even describes it is that she kind of turns her brain off for a lot of things because she doesn't want to be constantly thinking about what does this mean, what's going to be happening in the story next. She wants to be kind of surprised and just go on the journey. And so she didn't fully understand what was going on in the movie at this point. But
this is like, a really good reveal here, by the way, to like transition it right back to here.
Yep.
It was a very like sharp way to kind of.
Did it remind you of like Jerry Bruckheimer
come
stuff?
Full circle,
like a CSI transition where they're like following the wires.
Oh yeah,
and stuff?
I mean Bruckheimer and Michael Bay obviously have a long relationship working with each other, and they both have a style that it fits well together. Okay, the original Xbox. What's that?
Yeah, more product placement.
Oh yeah, the original Xbox logo was also like it was a good logo in that it was very distinct. You remembered it. You like, I don't know. It was an effective logo. I'll put it that way. Because people recognized it immediately. This is this would be cool. Although you would still have to be able to pull these moves off, right? Like back in your your little.
Like, what kind of haptic feedback are they getting from behind the little wall? That's one of my questions.
Anytime you have like fully intensive VR with like a full haptic suit and like a Omni treadmill type of thing. It's like, well, if you want to make sure that people stay fit while they're online, I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love that.
But man, can you imagine playing Skyrim where you actually had to walk the entire way?
Right. I like the inclusion of this guy. He's just in the back being a dick. And then they pay it off later. Not even to like a major thing. Like, it's not even a plot point. It's just a little thread that runs through it to help you kind of understand the gravity or the reach of this company.
So I'm trying to... I was going back a little bit to what you were talking about earlier. I'm trying to remember now. I don't remember ever having like a mystery about their clones. And I'm wondering if it was spoiled ahead of time for me somehow. Or if it's just going back far enough that I don't remember my first viewing really well.
Well, no, it was in the marketing.
It was in the marketing?
In the trailers. Like, your clones.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So I think that maybe that's why I don't have any memory of like watching this movie and being like, I wonder what's going on here. And so maybe that's kind of always been in my mind when I've watched this movie. So because you're right, it did give it some time. I could see if you went into this movie totally blind, which most people have not even heard of this movie that aren't, fans of this era. So
yeah, it's just I like it when movies do that, but unfortunately, marketing tends to spoil a lot of things. I think of Terminator 2.
Genesis.
Okay. What?
Well, Terminator 2, but Terminator Genesis is maybe a bigger offender with John Connor being a.
Oh yeah.
They ruined it. He was.
The Terminator 1 was such a revelation, right? And Terminator 2 even more so.
But they gave away that he was a good guy.
You go in entirely blank, right? And you see there's the Terminator. Here's another guy who's shown up, and he takes a cop's uniform. He looks like a good guy. He looks more human. He's acting a bit more human. It's not until the mall scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger pulls the shotgun out of the rose box, the box of flowers, and they start shooting at each other that you find out that Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator is now the good guy, and this other guy is something else. And it's if they had, if you know nothing about it, but
because and you can tell Cameron shot it that way. You can tell it was set up and shot to be which one is going to try to kill John Connor and which one's going to try to save him.
Yeah.
This okay. The gal who is doing the videos. Was she like a professional model, or is she an actress that has any kind of is she a known quantity or has any kind of significance?
You're going out to the island. Her name's Noah Tishby. She's credited as the community announcer. And she's been in a lot of things, just nothing much. It's like she was on some TV shows. She was on an episode of Enterprise, but never like a cast member. Outside of being on in the 90s, she was on 100 episodes of some sort of Eastern European soap opera type thing. Just not really done much. Oh, sorry, she's Israeli. And she did a lot of stage and TV shows over in Israel, apparently.
Now, one thing is we're starting to get to kind of the transition point here, right? Where he's starting to, he's going to start pushing to get out. It's interesting, and this is where the movie definitely could do more, but it's a Michael Bay movie, and so he wants to get to the action soon, is how well would this work as far as the implications of kind of the methods of control, the what human beings need in order to function, as far as activity, keeping them in a psychological kind of treadmill, for lack of better terms, that would be effective. Because that is human beings are very, very difficult to control and mask, to tell, to make them. He just got the key still sitting there, by the way.
Yeah. I know, it's so stupid.
It is one of those little, just very glaring plotter. And it's okay, is there no security? He's just jogging around. They show this incredible amount of how did he leave his room?
Yeah.
Everything is shown to be super controlled, and then he just apparently just jogs through and crouches by a stairway and then gets there. But
it's another one of those things.
Yeah. And that the security in here, as far as just this, also is why is it so? Anyways, what would it really take? And I actually find any type of setting like this. I've been watching, as it's been airing on Apple TV, the Silo series with Rebecca Ferguson. The first 2 seasons come out. It's really good, and one of the more interesting parts of it is what would be necessary to keep a controlled, contained population functional. What are some of the things you would have to do to make a human being cooperate with an environment in a very controlled space where you have to keep it under control, but you don't, the amount of work it would take to be, because ultra authoritarianism is very, it's very intensive to do, right? If you go into the Orwellian, 1912,
1984.
1984. I don't know where 1912 came from. I don't know what happened then. World War I was going on. We're about to start. Anyways.
About to start.
But it takes a tremendous amount of effort, right, to just harshly oppress people and control their every move. You have to be so vigilant, and the human psyche just naturally rebels against it really, really hard. And so I like the idea in this that things like, why would you have a club and, video games and drinks? And like, well, yeah, it's because you would want to give people that cycle of why they give them jobs, even if it is literally just to help them run their own, the creation of their brothers and sisters. There's some interesting ideas here, and I actually wish they had been able to get into the psychological. Like, there's a little bit later where Sean Bean's character is talking to somebody, I think, and he kind of goes through the process of like why they have to, keep him. They don't keep him asleep. They kind of have to keep him going. I wish it was more than just one line to explain it to a character later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was a long monologue for me. This is an intense scene.
Fine. It is. This is a rough one.
This actress here, the coldness that she does this scene with, just the look on her face, just that.
Well, it's not entirely cold though. There's a sympathy to it.
Well, there's sympathy, but the kind of sympathy you give to like an animal, like not a human.
Exactly. I always remembered this actress because of that though. But she like always stuck in my head because she has that, like, she's putting down an animal and it's awful.
Yeah.
But she's just doing her job. And yeah, it's super weird. Did you ever watch the show For All Mankind?
I've seen like the first 3 seasons of it.
All right, because apparently she's on it. That actress. She's
on
like 10 episodes of the show. She plays a character named Irina.
Yeah, I recognize her in it. It's actually a show that I've been meaning to get back to and keep working on. Ron Moore is one of the main guys in that show, behind the scenes.
That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the moment where it really clicks for a lot of people. Like I was talking to my wife, to understand, like, oh, I see what's going on. Like, you see, if you like sci-fi, you were kind of getting it. But this is the moment when you understand clones. And okay, again, here you're just seeing people who's in a whole bunch of stuff now that wasn't. That actress was on the show Community. She was in Avengers Endgame and a whole bunch of other stuff. This guy here.
Oh, he was in 24, and he was he was in some of the Transformer movies. He's been a military guy a ton.
So much. I mean, he was even General Shepard in the rebooted Call of Duty Modern Warfare games. But he's a favorite of Michael Bay because they kill him off in the first 15 minutes of Transformers 1, but then they bring him back in Transformers 3 as either, like, was he a survivor? Was he a twin brother? Like,
I don't think
whatever.
They expected you to ask. Just for like, it's fine. But I mean, I remember him the most because he was the Secret Service agent in 24 that was became a good friend of Jack's, and I think it was Aaron was his name, right?
Aaron Pierce.
Yep.
I specifically remember that. But he's always a military guy in stuff. Like you said, I remember him, he was on the show Lie to Me. He played some sort of military guy. X-Men First Class, he was a military guy. Of course, all the Transformers movies that he was in.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was on several episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was a general of some kind. And, Supergirl. That was it. Supergirl, he played Lois Lane's father, General Sam Lane.
Oh, I could totally see him as, yeah. So he and Michael Ironside had both played General Lane.
Yeah.
Okay. Jumping out, this scene here, this is so... Michael Clark Duncan, just... Oh my gosh, he has rib spreaders, in him right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is where just the horror of this, how the stuff hanging off of him... And he's got that face that he emotes so well. I mean, rest in peace, man. This guy was a phenomenal actor,
right? And unfortunately, a guy that big, you got to have a strong heart, or you're not going to live long. And unfortunately, he ended up having a heart attack.
And these,
there's a body horror.
That hurts just to watch. Sorry.
The hooks in the legs, the way that you actually see it pulling.
Yeah.
He's got the rib spreaders, the blood. They don't shy away from the blood here.
Yeah. This guy too. This like you're going to see him a few times, but this like one of the guards. Oh yeah, this pulling away that like scream. This is a visceral moment in the film.
Right. This is where this movie turns into something a little different, and unfortunately, it never really gets back to this point either. It's this really startling, horrific scene within the one moment, or within the movie that is kind of incongruous. It's like it's from a whole different movie.
It is, and that's where the Michael Bayism is like both at its best and worst, because when it goes full his style of action scene, which are super flashy, very well done, right? Just he knows how to shoot a car chase and some gunfire, but the contrast to what we just saw here, it does like tonally it is weird.
Yeah. And this is horrible, but if you've ever been around soldiers or like prison guards or something like that, they do stuff like that.
Yeah, unfortunately. So the guy who was like the main guard, the guy who helped up Ewan McGregor, he's like standing to the right of somebody. He's one of those guys too. Yeah. He's been in he was in CSI. Yeah, he's been in he's played a cop quite often. He's played like a federal officer. He's like one of those guys that just plays a somebody in a position of authority for government agency that you may or may not be able to trust. He's played that character at least a dozen times.
You see, I don't recognize him from anything, to be honest, and I'm wondering if like maybe I do and I just don't realize it.
I gotta find his name.
Right? I'm just sitting there going, wait. The thing is, you go look on something like IMDb, and the names that are given are like Laurent team member, chief of incubation, harvest surgeon, harvest nurse. Like it's not obvious.
Well, and what's interesting is sometimes the overlay on Prime is like nice because it'll give you like who's in the scene right now, and other times it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I assume this isn't one of the movies that they're sitting there going, oh, we need to really
get this dialed in.
Show them the island.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Do you
Now, these guns are actually completely original composites. They're made up for the movie. They're not even built on the base of another gun.
Really?
Yeah. Either that or they're probably some sort of toy, like a Nerf gun that's been repainted, but I haven't been able to find anything on them.
So, this and then right here, the idea that he's dead. I mean, obviously he is. There's no way. Just very intense. Now, again here, sorry, the idea that they have like this level of security where they can just like scan the whole building like that and immediately know like where people are. Yeah,
they're tracking the bracelet.
Yeah, okay. What do you think about how they kind of keep her more childish for quite a while? Does that make sense?
She's younger than him.
That is true,
isn't she?
I think she's what, her first year or second year maybe. He's what, 3 or 4.
They describe it a little bit later, but yeah, she's supposed to be younger. She also is just kind of a more optimistic person. They imply that she's not like a bad person at all in real life. She's a model. She has kids. Where Lincoln, his donor he's a genius. He's a thrill seeker. He's an asshole.
He's Tony Stark.
Be, less content. And he's gonna have more time to develop that. So she's naturally gonna be more childish, where he's gonna be developing a little bit different. It's not like a man versus woman thing. That's not what I'm trying to do, if that's what it sounds like at all.
No. I think
that's what her character's supposed to be. She's supposed to be the naive one, and he's supposed to be the curious one.
Yeah, but it's there are times where I feel like they what do you call it? They overplay she's very, very like innocent and almost kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And that always struck me as a little bit, when you get to the end and it's like, I mean, yeah, they're adults, I guess, like physically they're adults. But what if you gave, elementary school kids grown-up bodies?
Yeah. No, there is that question, when we get to it later and they start boning, you're kind of like, should they be doing that? But it does not shy away from like the visceral nature of this. Like the dings, the dongs. Michael Bay's so good at action, even just small self-contained action like this.
Well,
you really feel the hits, and part of it is actually his obsession with sound editing.
Yeah. Well, to me, he is one of the best balances. It's going to sound weird talking about Michael Bay, between like your frantic 60 cuts to get over a fence, in Taken 3, right? Or kind of the as much as I like the Bourne movies, kind of the worst things that came out of the shaky cam, just weird way of shooting, to the very sterile, your pullback, you just let the action scene play out in one long shot. He's a decent balance of trying to continually give it kinetic energy by moving the camera, by editing, by giving that punchy sound, his oversaturation, the way that he's not content to just sit and shoot something. But he never, to me anyways, there might be some special effects scenes in Transformers that are would contradict what I'm saying, but he never takes it so far that I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, will you just stop?
Yeah. No, I agree. But again, I read this interview with him where he was talking about how he thinks that like it was something like 40% or 60% of movies, was one of those two, that he believes is actually sound and music, which is why he always wants his sound editing and his music to be so on point and so intense compared to others. And that's one of the things that I have noticed, especially watching movies with you and going over these things, is that there's certain action sequences or action beats that bug the crap out of me because the sound is off.
Yeah.
It's just a little too dull. It's lacking a certain amount of like punchiness and impact, and it bugs the crap out of me. Yeah. Whereas a Michael Bay movie, I never feel like I have to worry about that at all.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent of, there's a reason why my speakers cost as much as my TV. Because
my dad was like that growing up.
Yeah, and I people classic elevator scene. Been done so many times, but it still works. Their uniforms do get magically clean here, by the way, and then get dirty again later. Just want to point that out.
Do they get magically clean?
When they emerge from the silo, like they're dirty here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they got a little bit. Yeah, there's like a little bit of dirt there. But when they finally get outside, like pay attention, and then like all of a sudden when they're up on the road, when they like get to the like ruins by their Route 66, stand or whatever they are, all of a sudden they're like very dirty again. It's just a funny little continuity thing. Anyways, I completely agree. I it's funny. My daughter was asking me the other day why I listen to the TV like very loud, and it's not because I am hard of hearing. It's because I enjoy focusing on a film, and I want the sound to be loud enough where I am all in, where I'm being kind of consumed by it. I'm definitely in the camp where the amount of people who will see, a Nolan film on their iPhone for the first time, and that's the first time they've ever seen the movie, and I'm like, you're experiencing it that way. And I was like, I just kind of hate that. I really do hate that that's the future. There is something about a big, brilliant screen and really good speakers when you have a really well-made film.
There's certain movies where if you see it in the wrong setting, it makes the movie just like so much worse.
Yeah. So here, because he wanted the contrast.
Is a good way to put that. But at the same time, Nolan is also a really good example of what I mean about sound effects not sounding right. Nolan tries so hard to be realistic about things like gunshots that they don't sound right. They don't look right in comparison to their sound, especially in like Tenet.
Yeah.
Like the guns don't even look like they're going off.
Yeah.
But you're hearing the sound. It doesn't always work for me.
But that's the contrast to me is like, and I know that I think I have a much higher opinion than you do, but like Michael Mann, whose sound editing is kind of like Mike Bay's, just so good. The punchiness of his action scenes. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we have the very classic. Sorry, just that helicopter spinning shot. It's
Michael Bay's favorite, especially in a desert with high contrast.
Oh yeah, well either if it's in a desert, it's a helicopter spinning shot, or if it's in a city, it's a camera on the ground spinning shot.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably with like them getting out of a car or standing up or something. It's. Sometimes it's acting, other times it's modeling in his movies for the actors.
But yeah, where do all the tubes go? And here we have the actual breakdown of what's going on. They just straight up spell it all out. They don't hide any of it anymore after this. This tells you everything.
The idea that like the human being is like perfect except for aging, I just do find to be hilarious as a concept. I
don't think it's supposed to be like the actual concept of what they're trying to say. I think it's supposed to be it's a sales pitch.
Yeah. Oh, no, I get it, but it's just he does love his helicopters.
Dude, his black helicopters.
Look at that shot.
Upward shot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Guy's
the
just
lighting.
Epic.
He has such harsh lighting in like great ways.
Yeah. Everything's very shiny until it gets dirty.
Yeah, everything's shiny, but his shadows are so stark and like black.
Well, yeah, he wants his movies to be striking. Everybody is, every way everybody's dressed, the way they're lit, they're always like very direct lighting on their face. Like you said, just very striking. He's not somebody who just has a nice even lighting effect on the entire scene. It's always like right here, like you can tell it's very over the top. You can see the light off his glass, the shadow off his glasses and nose. And then this guy, oh my gosh, he's just such a striking man. I mean,
yeah, Djimon Hounsou is he's an incredibly like handsome man and just kind of striking looking, and he's terrifying. I think is a good way to put it.
Well, we've
already watched several movies with him in it.
Yeah, his eyes specifically are. This is another actor who appears. Oh, what is his name? Dang it.
Yeah, I couldn't find him. I was actually like looking for him.
He's been in so many things.
I couldn't find him. In the thing. On the IMDb's.
On the IMDb's. Yeah, this is not good podcasting to be looking at this while we record. But you know what? It's what you get with us.
Whoops.
He's played a military guy a few times. He was one of the Deltas in Black Hawk Down.
That's right. He got blown in half, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I forgot that because I remember him also being in Armageddon, and he played such a weenie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot he was in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, so was Ewan McGregor, now that I think about it.
But yeah, I think, well, and what's interesting is right here, he's got this very nice, he's a little more calm, but he's, when he makes, he locks eyes with you, his eyes are so striking. And I always feel weird, like, are you allowed to say this? His skin is so dark. It really is striking. And I don't, I just swear, I don't mean that in any weird way. Like, I don't know, sorry. I don't know what's allowed anymore, and I'm sorry for that.
Well, because the thing is, you're going to find that a lot of people of genuine African descent have much darker skin.
Yeah.
You've had so much interracial breeding that the average African American has much lighter skin, which, again, not a problem at all.
Yeah. Well,
it makes them stand out. And Djimon Hounsou, okay, this dude, even more so than others, he kind of stands out to me. I mean, did you ever see Amistad? No. And then you have like, he also has that kind of like French hint to his voice because,
well, there's a lot a lot of French influence. I mean, obviously along with British, but yeah.
Well,
what I
he
mean
was
though is,
born in West Africa, but he actually moved to France when he was a teenager, and he was like homeless. And he was discovered by a fashion designer who made him a model. And then he was told he was working as a model, and he was doing commercials, and he ran into Michael Bay. Okay. And he said he wanted to be an actor, and Michael Bay said, work on your accent. And he did. And that helped him to get parts.
nice.
Yeah.
I'll just say this really quickly. I just because I want to. What I struggle with the, it's weird in today's world that it's like to even notice it or like say that you notice it about somebody's skin color or somebody's ethnic characteristics. There's people who just like, why would you even notice? What are you saying? It's like, shut up. And I'm frustrated because it's the thing where I hate having to even worry about that.
Yeah, I hate having to even preface it.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be weird to say this man's skin is exceptionally dark among actors.
And it is part of what makes him
like,
so striking.
Yeah.
And the contrast with his eyes. And he's got this just intense facial structure that makes him so intimidating so effortlessly. And but I've also, like, you've seen him in roles where he does play. My first introduction to him that I remember at least was in Gladiator. And just as the great, it's just the befriended slave, right? And just such a great character bit in that film. And I really wish he had made it bigger because he's a talented actor. He's got a lot of presence, but yeah, it'd be hard for him to lead a film.
Yeah, he's not really a lead, I admit, but he's in so much.
Yeah,
like he's appeared as the character of Korath in 3 different MCU things. He's the ultimate kind of like sidekick, and I feel bad for saying that. But yeah, it's just like 3 different MCU things. He appeared as the Wizard Shazam in 4 different DC properties. As terrible as some of those ended up being, that's still really cool.
Yeah.
He was in Fast Furious 7. He was in that King Arthur movie. He was in Aquaman. Just like so much stuff. He's just always present. I mean, do you remember him in Stargate? He was Horus,
Oh, that's right.
And he's killed there at the end by
That's right.
Jack.
He was, one of the guards. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love him. I remember, one of my very first introductions to him was actually in the movie Constantine. He plays the club owner Midnight. And he had such a great way of giving exposition and just having such a great presence. I can't speak highly enough of Djimon Hounsou. He was the best part of the Rebel Moon movies, which I so wanted to be good, and unfortunately they were utter crap.
See, I still have not watched those, and you're going to make me watch them at some point, so...
Well, I know what I'm going to be putting on our future watch list then.
If you do, I'm just going to bring up the Critical Drinker.
Hey, let's do it. I mean, Critical Drinker's breakdown of that assassination scene was gold.
This whole sequence...
It's a little over the top.
It is.
I love it.
It makes. It's way over the top. It's funny. This is another guy who's he was in Armageddon as the like NASA guy who was like running. He was like running mission control, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's another guy that's appeared in a bunch of Michael Bay stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure he was in one of the Transformer films, right?
I'm fairly certain he was. I need to find it. I remember he's let's see.
Dump it again.
Ace of Spades bartender. Here we are. Chris Ellis. Oh my gosh, that's him. Oh, I have seen this guy in a lot of stuff. I didn't realize that. But yeah, he's in Transformers, he's in Armageddon, he's in The Island. He was in Apollo 13. I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's in so much stuff that I've seen. He's in The Dark Knight Rises.
He's just one of those character actors that just pops up all the time.
Yeah. Wow.
This is just like...
This is so stupid, and I love
just like,
it.
Oh man.
This is so funny.
It's just like it's and this is where the movie. I like the end of this movie. I like the action scenes. I think that it's funny. This is, just the hilarious misunderstanding. But the movie stops being serious. And I do think that it should have...
Wait, this guy went on to be the gay guy in Modern Family. Like, he went... Did you ever see Modern Family?
I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually watched an episode.
That guy goes on to become one of the most iconic gay characters in TV, and he's this greasy, gross trucker that just has a random couple of lines in this movie, and he's such a good actor. He's super funny.
She wants to keep drinking. Okay, I'm trying to think of the. I mean, I know some people do, but just like. Your first time you go to the bar, you just start shooting Jack. Really? Like, that's just... Ugh.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
This SS, the Chevy SS, this was such a horrendously ugly car.
I know.
It's so ugly.
Isn't it great?
The angle that he starts right there, so close to his face, and just this weird, like, distorted... just like... Oh, and
well, that's one of the things that Michael Bay really likes
girlfriend.
is getting really close to people's faces. Like he does close-ups like nobody else. Like look how tight they are on this chick.
And again, like the super harsh, Michael Bay loves very yellow lighting.
He does.
He really likes
he's such a dick to his girlfriend here. Like, oh, I want to hit him.
Well, again, he's not like. It's interesting because he's nice to them, but you can tell like in real life he's not like a great guy, right? He's just kind of drinks a lot. He and his girlfriend have a interesting sex life, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, and he's also just like very belittling to her, and he's a misogynistic pervert.
Yeah,
who obviously wants to do better, which does eventually lead to his death, but he's also just not a good dude.
Yeah.
He's such an opposite of these, techno, pure, childlike clone people,
He does play a horny pervert in a lot of movies, I feel like.
He does. It's a strength of his, especially with Michael Bay. But one of the things about this movie that floats around movie conspiracy theories, okay, is that a whole bunch of some people out there think that this movie was purposefully sabotaged by production companies because they were worried that it was going to be too political, as they couldn't get away from what they felt was an obvious pro-life nature to the script, comparing the products, which are also referred to as agates, or agnates, sorry, which is a term that's used in abortion, very similar to fetus or zygote, and all this other stuff, and that like the whole right to live, they're not human. We should be allowed to just get rid of them. It doesn't matter if their consciousness is simulated and stuff like that. So it's really interesting.
I hadn't heard that. That is interesting, though.
True, but if you really wanted to get into it, then you could see this movie as being very pro-life, which is weird.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Well, there's a reason why rarely is that portrayed as being like. Anyway, I got a rabbit hole there of in film. It is incredibly rare to see abortion portrayed because it is genuinely hard to film in a positive light.
Okay, and I was wrong here. She's actually older than him by a year, apparently. My bad on that. I lied to you guys. I'm a terrible podcaster.
You are a terrible podcaster. This, though, I mean, sort of about pacing. This is a long scene. Like, we've been sitting here talking for a while. And I get that it's just, but this is just, I mean, it's exposition, by good actors in a visually interesting set. You know, you've got this guy's, you know, nasty old house, and you know, again, you got that Michael Bay yellow lighting on everything, and but it's just exposition. This is just information dumping.
Just because you want to eat the burger doesn't mean you want to eat the cow. It's a pretty great line. I always like that one.
And then getting to the whole, you know, I mean, he just okay. We got to get to the humor where we dress him up and then send him out, and this movie could be and this is where you either commit to a serious version of this movie where you really get into the implications of genetic memory and the human the psychology of captive humans, and how you keep them happy, and you know, dealing with their innate curiosity and drive to discover and explore, and then the moral implications of using clones. I mean, you either do a serious movie with all that, or you cut this movie down by like 20 minutes and you just go for a funny sci-fi action film. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It definitely has an identity crisis just as a film, and it's one of the reasons why it ended up with so many tough reviews. I read a few of the reviews. I remember one. It was a New York Times review that said the film is smarter than you might expect, at the same time dumber than it could be. Yeah. And there's enough there to make you wish that it were better.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, this is the kind of movie that I wonder what this movie would have been like if Spielberg had directed
it. You know, this would probably be like a Minority Report.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, and again, not that Spielberg bats every time, or hits out of the park every time, but if he wanted to do a little more of a contemplative, just laughing at this.
It's a funny joke. This is a pretty good joke.
You don't really wear those on the outside. It's also
reinforcing their complete ignorance about sex, which is a part of their character.
Oh yeah. And of course, all the cliche stuff too. The French maid, the nurse uniform, like, you know, they're just pulling out the classics, right?
And I love him just being like, it's mail order, and that nobody knows what that is today. That means he got it out of a special catalog. I get that, but these days it'd be like, no, that's Amazon. You know, like, you're watching this in a modern time. Nobody's really gonna understand what mail order means.
But even here, things like, you know, like the looking at a credit card, little
Michael
sexist joke here.
Signature misogyny. But they've already like established. Okay, this is so many people have tried to mimic this type of like frantic hunting sequence type of thing. Like the music in the background. I was going to talk about the music. Do you know about Steve Jablonsky?
I feel like I should. I feel bad now.
So this was Steve Jablonsky's like first major movie. Like he worked on stuff like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 and the Amityville Horror in 2005. But this was his big like breakout movie. He did all kinds of scores for video games, things like Command and Conquer 3, Gears of War, things like that. The Sims, Metal Gear Solid 2. But he was a student of Hans Zimmer, and he wanted to do a whole bunch of movies, but the one that really shot him into it was the first Transformers. And he's been the composer for all of the Transformers movies and things like Battleship and Ender's Game, Lone Survivor, The Last Witch Hunter, the live-action Ninja Turtle movies. But he's a really good musician for action films, but he's the guy who does the score for that really shitty action movie you know that people are going to go see because of the actor in it. Stuff like Red Notice and Bloodshot, Borderlands, Skyscraper, things like that, like Gangster Squad. he's really just like, he's a talented guy, but he makes scores for the worst movies.
Ooh, took out that bar.
That's a rough one.
Yep. I did
For
like
those
the
of you not watching, Steve Buscemi just got blown away.
He did. I did like the transforming briefcase, that just falls away. That you're basically like holding the grip the entire time. Like that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever see the stuff on like the old spy weapons and things like the briefcase gun?
Yeah, there's some cool stuff for sure.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff, like the where you can hide an MP5 inside of a briefcase.
Okay, I want this nail gun in real life. I've used quite a few nail guns, including gas powered ones and electric ones. Still want to find the one that shoots nails like that.
Yeah.
That's not how. I mean, this is probably like supposed to be the kind that like uses a 22 cartridge to drive a nail into concrete, which I've used. This is totally fictional. Anytime nail guns are shown to like shoot their guns, nails like bullets, it kind of bugs me as somebody who's worked in the trades a long time. It's just one of those like movie things that.
I love this. The lighting in this scene, the way that the god rays, the close camera, the face and everything like that. I just love the way this is shot. It's like this little tense thing, and then bam! You just feel the pain.
Oh, and then got a crowbar on top of it. I mean, that poor dude.
Yeah, he has a rough time throughout this movie.
Yeah,
he's around a lot. You can identify him by the bandage on his hand.
Yeah.
They show him being bandaged up a little bit later, and they really drive that home, just like she drove that nail home.
Yeah. Amtrak in the future.
Right? Dude, like they're supposed to be in California right now, and they've got this speeding maglev train. It's supposed to be, 2019?
You guys have been working on that thing for 20 years.
Oh my God, the amount of things that have happened. 30. Untold billions. Like
I remember the initiative. I was there. I was a voter.
God, it's just it disgusts me because I want that train to exist. I think it's a great idea. Almost the entirety of China's like 18,000 mile fast train going all around the thing, or 8,000 miles or something like that, has been built since we started building the one tiny little train track.
Yeah.
It'll never get done. It's such a waste of money. It's so much just blatant corruption.
Yeah. It's hilarious that you bring that up today, because I literally was listening to one of my favorite talk shows. It's now a podcast, but from California, and they were talking about the high-speed rail yesterday. I was listening to it this morning on my way to work, and just bringing up once again, this thing that just will not die. But just that they were talking about why
it's not that it won't die, it's that it won't live either.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, it won't go either. But what is it with, like, is there just something inherently in America that we just won't do high-speed rail? There's just something like cultural that just stops it from.
I mean, is it cultural or is it businesses that sabotage it, because that would take away from
possibly
like the road travel, which so much of the economy is based on? Yeah. It would take away from air travel. Like, there's the potential for active corporate sabotage to be going on.
Oh, absolutely.
But I feel like that's just, I don't know.
I don't disagree, but I do think that there's there's a lot of stuff that is cultural that you can go back, and this is true of not just America, that is the product of businesses, of money and energy spent to kind of make things a certain way. And then it ends up becoming what that culture, like, it's part of the culture, though. And regardless of where it came from or what its origins are, from, what keeps it alive, it's always a mixture of what is being pushed on, and then what is naturally then following along. I don't know. I do think that there is something in just the American culture that's whether or not that's entirely from businesses forcing on us, or it's something inherent in just the way that we are. Americans are weird. As much as I'm proud to be an American, we are weird.
Distinctly.
She gets to see herself.
Yeah, this is an actual commercial that Scarlett Johansson was in. It's not just like something they made for the movie.
Well, because she did a fair bit of modeling before she broke into acting, right?
Yeah. I wonder why.
She's a very attractive woman.
Yes. But yeah, and okay,
these Chevy.
What's the name of that one actor, Titus something, that was in Bosch?
Titus Welliver.
I have this weird memory of him being in this movie.
He's not,
but he's not.
It looks kind of like him right there, but it's not. I just called them Chevys. They're not these Chrysler. Because they were a big deal at that time. The big grill Chrysler 300s, I think they were called.
No, I'm not a car guy.
Oh, this is one of my favorite bits of product placement coming up here. The idea that this was in the future, that MSN search.
That's right. Oh, somewhere also in here, a car goes by, and it's actually the car that Tom Cruise drives in Minority Report.
Really?
Yeah, just ran a little thing in the background.
Oh, cool.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Nice. Okay, is it technically a lens flare that Michael Bay does a lot, or is it something different where it's slightly out of focus and you get kind of the light lines? It's not quite a lens flare, right?
I think that it is part of it is considered a lens flare, but he does it to a very different.
He's not like JJ
intensity than somebody like J.J. Abrams. I'm moving.
So here, yeah, MSN search with like the butterfly. It's just like,
yeah.
Oh, Microsoft, you really thought that this would be the future here,
right?
It never got beyond just kind of the like quirky landing page that sometimes you would have because you forgot to change the default when you reset up Windows.
MSNBC. Not listed.
I remember my Windows Vista install with the butterfly wings, going, I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh, Vista. Like, I'll defend some of like Windows 8 because it wasn't nearly as bad as people thought it was once they switched to the default screen. But man, Vista.
Well,
good God, Vista.
Well, then Cisco Systems down there, which is still actually really big in the business world.
Yeah.
But never broke into.
Cisco is bigger than you can imagine.
Oh yeah, no. One of my best friends up here is works for them and as accounts all over the West Coast, and yeah, they're huge. They're not like the they don't have that name recognition in like just regular people's lives, but anybody who works in business, yeah, they're huge.
Oh yeah. All
right.
Yeah, I love the trench coat. This entire action sequence coming up here, it's a long one. And
well, because this goes all the way, right? This is the same action scene that goes all the way to the sign on the side of the building, right? The big logo.
Yep.
Oh man,
and
yeah, this
frankly,
is long.
It's a little boring, to be honest. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not. It lags in a lot of places.
Well, it's a lot of it's just driving. I think that's part of it too. A lot of it's just. I mean, I do think there's some creativity. I mean, I do genuinely think the semi with the rail wheels is pretty cool. They just as cool. a unique thing to throw off the back of a truck, because we've done the car carrier, right, where you drop cars. I think Michael Bay's done that in like one of the Bad Boys movies. You've done
seen a Bad Boys movie.
What's that?
I've never seen a Bad Boys movie.
Okay. He did it in one of the Bad Boys movies. I think it was the second one. I mean, there's other... But the idea of, these big train wheels, that is frightening if you were behind that thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Dude,
there's
it reminds
that.
Me of, freaking, what do you call it? Final
these poor
Destination
cops.
2. Yeah.
They're just dead.
Bop, bop.
Oh. Although, okay, we have several survival scenes here by our two main characters that it definitely pushes.
Believe me. I mean, Michael Bay says himself that he laid the context for why it happens. Okay, because Jesus loves them.
Jesus loves them.
He good. Literally was just like, well, I had the guy being like, I know Jesus loves you.
Oh, man.
They right here with these masks and everything, they're using some really heavily modified futuristic AKs They're supposed to, and he does this a little bit more, specifically in Transformers 3: Dark of the Moon, where they get these guns and they increase the barrel size to make it look like they're firing a much larger caliber, a large bore round.
They do that, but they also change the sound effect to make it sound a little bit like faster and almost like sharper, where it's like to get like the speed of the round, where it's more of a
it sounds almost like a P90, like a suppressed P90.
Yeah, it does. Like instead of a thocky, big caliber gun going off, they make it look bigger while at the same time making the sound effect.
Thocky?
Yeah, like a good thock.
Thocky?
Whatever. You know what? Okay, but like the camera work here, like just watch, like just everybody running. I think this is really well done. Honestly, as far as just the energy of people running around buildings.
It is. It's just the issue is it gets old.
It does go on too long. But here we got the semi. I always imagined that the semi was self-driving. I don't know why, just the way the cab was designed.
Maybe. Okay, so
the floating trains.
I have this weird thing. I remember watching this movie once while eating McDonald's, and every time I come up to this scene, I want to eat McDonald's.
Okay.
I want a cheeseburger right now. I want a McDonald's cheeseburger. So that's your weird fact for the day.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so here, we just have a lot of driving, a lot of just, it's
like really good effects, the practical effects, the mix of CGI and practical, because there's not a ton of CGI in these scenes, but it also exists at the same time. There's a really interesting thing to this. So while filming Transformers 4, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 4. They have a car chase in there. That was Age of Extinction. Or was it the third one? It was one of the Transformers movies that wasn't the first two. Directed by Michael Bay.
Where, sorry, I'm just going to watch this. And this is where, this to me is effective. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And it's kind of timeless because the story is that an extra was either very badly injured or actually killed on set during one of those Transformers movies. And so they cut the sequence out where that happened for both legal and personal reasons, right? But that leaves there's a lack of coherence that even Michael Bay couldn't put up with. And they reuse scenes. This right here, this scene where the car's cut in half like that is reused in a Transformers movie, but they digitally replace the pane of metal or the panel of metal with a transformer hitting that car instead. And the several other scenes where they replace, they reuse footage from this movie in a Transformers movie, but they just stick a robot in it.
Interesting.
So this movie has scenes in it that live on in the Transformers movies.
Good job. Just random. Okay. But
Did you ever see Final Destination 2?
No.
It begins with a car accident that is just like stuff like this happening, and it'll burn itself into your memory.
And then we've got, okay, I swear these things were somewhat, I feel like that they're early versions of what the, who were Loki's army in Avengers?
Oh, the Chitauri?
The Chitauri. A little bit of the flyers that they were riding around on.
I can see that. This feels so 2005 though. Like this little, it's semi-real militaristic sci-fi flying thing that is completely impractical in real life.
Oh yeah.
Like it's got a jet on it. It has the gunner sitting there all exposed. All you need is a lucky shot on this thing.
Look at how easily he gets them here. Of course they stupidly just like, I'm gonna run right down the side of this thing, just asking to get clotheslined.
Yeah. Which is, kind of cool. It's kind of fun. But they're sitting there with like a freaking M249 saw, right? Like, and it still has the big, magazine sticking off of it, where it would have been so cool if you could have it to where it's just like connected to a bigger ammo box lower down, so it would have that like almost unlimited amount of ammo that could be stored on the back of this thing, because that's what you'd really want, is instead of just having a replaceable ammo box that you need to change out while you're on the move, you'd want it like connected to a larger magazine that would be mounted on the bike itself, you know?
Yeah.
Which is a stupid nitpick. Stupid.
It is, but you're right. I mean, this is also, the way this is comped, the way this is kind of put together also feels very of its time. Just the... it
feels like the pod race.
It does.
Like, there's even some sound effects there. It feels like a video game.
Yeah. Ooh. Should have been watching those trains.
I do love that, though. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Meep, train time.
Of course. I mean, I do appreciate that they're kind of, you know, there's a tiny bit of story going on here when it comes to, you know, that why Ian McGregor would be kind of naturally good at this. You find out later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
because they even like call it out. It's not just one of those things where it's like, how would he even know how to do this? And they straight up call it out of like, it's just like, how does he know how to ride this bike? That's a really good question. Also, these things just like disappear. It just like falls, and now they're suddenly on top of the R. Like, okay, they just happened to fall off so perfectly to land on there, and they didn't break anything. Like, I get it, Jesus loves them, but damn.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact too that it kept going, and they had, you know, their forward momentum was arrested enough that they went out the window, but then fell straight down onto this thing.
And she just got a tiny little cut on her left eyebrow.
Yeah. It is, I mean, this movie is absurd when it comes to, they both should have died more than once at this point.
Oh, so many times. So much death.
And then when the helicopter, when it gets taken out here by the sign, is just, it's up there with the cliche. I think we've talked about this cliche before. Of any time you see, we talked about this for sure in Pacific Rim. I'm sure about it. Whenever they show like F-22s flying like below the line of sky, you know, like skyscrapers, like flying around like super close, and they're always in freaking wingtip formation, right? And just way too close, flying in a way that nobody that actually flies those planes would ever operate them.
Yeah.
And the same thing here, where like when this helicopter dies, it's just stupid. Like what is it? Why was it flying right there? Right below this R when it falls down. But also, too, the fact that they don't fall out of this thing when it starts tipping, it's just no.
Well,
it's
obviously,
so
they're
stupid.
belted in.
There's no room. This thing would be slippery. This thing would be... There's nothing to hold on to. That right there, they're still standing up, kind of. It's just this whole thing is so absurd. Sorry.
Right? Okay, it's super weird, too. Do you notice the rifle that guy was using? It wasn't just like some random M4. It was an M14 that was like all kitted out to look like an M14 or something, or an M4. It was really weird.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
They're
god, this
fine.
whole thing is so dumb.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's a nice little roller coaster ride for them, and they just happen to land on the big safety net.
This is so dumb.
So stupid. They filmed this in Detroit, I think.
A lot of it was in Detroit, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, they're just nothing. Yeah. Not a sprained ankle.
You ever watch the show Chuck?
I own the entire season of Chuck, entire series.
So
Jesus must love you. Yeah, there you go. Okay, sorry, it's funny. When you said that, I'm like, I remember that in this movie, but I don't remember that happening already. There it is. Jesus must love you.
Uh-huh. But that actor, his name's Mark Christopher Lawrence.
Oh, he's been in a ton of stuff.
And I love him. Like, he was in stuff as early as being a background character in, like, Terminator 2. But he's in all kinds of things constantly. And that's just his only little... It's the most memorable line in the movie, in my opinion. Jesus must love you. But he's in so much stuff. And he's so fun. He's got that big, loud, chunky black guy thing going for him.
Yeah. But he plays humor and intense really well. Like, he's done both.
Yeah.
This whole scene, too, I mean, again, I think they needed Sean Bean's character to, I mean, he was obviously evil from the very beginning, you know, the way that this scene where he puts these spiders in the guy's eye. But I think they wanted him to have a full go villain moment before they get to the final. Of course, we got to devolve this thing into a fist fight between the two, you know, Sean Bean and Ian McGregor. But just like, they don't give him any sympathy. Like, they really don't.
No. And it's just like, they needed to remind you of what's going on, like from a narrative perspective. So they needed to have a little subplot showing him as evil, following up on the thing, but also it gives a ticking clock. It makes an urgency.
Yeah.
That even though the characters are unaware that there's a ticking clock, we know. So we're like, oh no, they're going to kill these characters that we know of. We better hope that they're going to go save them.
Yeah. And, you know, it does help. I will say that scene, though, as much as Bay is good at, like, compositing shots and everything, it was, to me, so obvious that it was just, he was putting this, you know, he was, like, thrusting the syringe, like, behind the guy's neck and pretending to inject it, because it just, the reaction, the interaction between a needle and skin and just the guy's neck, and just the sound effect wasn't right. It sounded almost like a sword going through something. I don't know. It was just.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you now. I didn't even notice. That scene always just passed me by as like, yep, he did.
Yeah, he did. Oh.
Yeah.
Now you see, Ian McGregor's got a little bit of blood on his face.
Mm-hmm. He's got that big old cut.
He does have just a little bit. Boobs. A little bit of. You're not wrong.
Dude, every time I would drive down to San Diego, because I was commuting down to San Diego for a little bit, and right there, off of the one, going past the fort down there, and you just look off to the right, and there's those silos, and they look like boobs. I'm not a pervert.
Sure not.
I'm not a crook.
Now, I do think this is a fantastic security, because, you know, you could just grab this door and, you know, there's no, like, nothing over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not the greatest security.
No, not really.
Although, obviously, it makes sense.
I thought you were actually complimenting the whole thing. It did kind of remind me of a bathroom stall, to be honest.
Yeah. It's also interesting, the whole concrete style where you leave all the holes in, like for. Mm-hmm. It's very industrial.
Yeah, it's modernist industrial chic.
Whatever. I mean, I suppose. Okay, I always.
You don't understand architecture.
I do understand it. It's just stupid. I've been in so many homes, and like so many, like.
If those of you who don't know, Brian is a professional burglar.
My job is a lot. I've been in so many rundown old homes and multi-million-dollar projects and everything in between, and I've seen stuff that is awesome and stuff that is stupid and a waste of money, and you can't convince me it's not. This whole I've always thought the cliche of the person whose house is full of pictures of themselves, like, you know, just your house is just as full of your own photos, is definitely a giveaway of a personality type.
I've seen it. I swear. I have seen it where people just like big picture of themselves. One of them even had like a painting of themselves as a child hanging above their
it's just weird.
Their fireplace. It's really strange stuff. But yeah, the compositing work in this part though is really good. The lighting's not always perfect, but this is a moving camera dual shot, which is really rare because this is before like really good digital face replacement. And it's just super difficult to have those moving twin shots.
Yeah, especially in a really like a very harshly lit environment. Also, there's a reason why a lot of times those type of films are shot in very static ways.
Okay,
good.
They're trying to make like these cool futuristic tablets, but it's so obviously just like a projection onto a slab. Like, look at that.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, you actually
It's so
saw
weird.
you literally saw it like stay still as he like passed it over.
Uh-huh. They belong to a sponsor. Yeah, it's just that bugged me even when I was a kid.
I do think that. I mean, I think the decision to let him have his accent, to give him glasses, they do a good job of making him. I don't know. He's cool, but he's definitely, you don't root for him either.
No, he's so creepy. Showing this to my wife, and he's like doing this whole weird sniff thing. She was just like, "Ew, what is he doing? Why is he doing that?" And I'm like, "That's how you know they've made a creep. Well done."
When you sniff the random woman, that's there's no appropriate circumstances for that move.
No, well, this is a guy who has, they even talk about like he's dying because he's had so much to drink and lots of sex and things like that, right? It's yeah.
That bottle of Michelob Light, when he walked up to it, was just like so perfectly framed. Just, here you go.
Dude, I've never even had Michelob. It's
disgusting.
It smells so gross.
Yeah, I tried it once. As somebody who actually really likes beer, I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, it always looked gross. It always smelled gross.
Like, even there, the fact that they were like kind of interacting with their hands close to each other like that, it is good.
Yeah, I really like. But even like they have the shadow pass over him just right. Like, it's so hard to do that way. The moving camera, the whole thing, it has to be like double shot motion control. Actually, they probably did 3 passes minimum. So that way they could comp in both of them. And I really did like the whole thing with the accent change. It helps differentiate them, but it also shows that like he's been raised in this bubble. They all have the same accent. Yeah, I like
it. For all my philandering.
Okay, you're on Amazon, right? You're watching this?
Yeah.
Are the subtitles not lined up properly for you?
They are a little bit, yeah, they're coming too early.
Yeah, I've been noticing that, I'm sorry that happened to you. But it's just it bugs the crap out of me because every now and again Hulu will do the same thing. And my wife and I'd be watching cooking shows, okay? And they're announcing who's leaving this week or something. And we'd like hold our hands up to stop the subtitles because we like subtitles. So that way we don't see who's being eliminated before they actually announce it.
See, I think I've said this on the podcast before. This is how much I enjoy doing this with you. I really hate subtitles in English movies. Like, I don't have any problem with them in a foreign language film or like watching anime with my kids. But if it's in English, I just, they're so distracting to me. I kind of hate them. But we do them here because I have the movie turned way down so I can hear your beautiful voice. Oh, this plan. I mean, you know what? From his point of view, this makes sense. I mean, one, that you'd see a famous person and you would recognize them from, your time there, but also just the quick, like, all right, this is what a child would think. Like, can we just go on the news and tell everybody?
Yeah, let's just go talk to the TV. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Also, the fact that he's not bright enough to kind of pick up on the fact that basically his sponsor just told him, I'm dying. That's why you exist. Like, I'm going to need your liver. And he wouldn't be like, So, wait a minute. If you let me go, then you're willing to die? Like, that he's not intelligent enough to kind of make that connection.
Yeah, he's not experienced enough with actual human behavior of just being around bastards.
Well, the fact that
covered bastards with bastard filling.
Yeah, the idea that Lincoln doesn't even try to hide he doesn't make up a story for him, right? He just tells him. Like, he's actually weirdly honest.
Well, because they're not really people to him,
Yeah.
So let's see.
You're one effer. You're one effer. I have to say, hearing him say the F word in his accent, I'll take it.
It's not bad. Okay, a pet peeve of mine in a lot of things is that kind of like a LexCorp or something, right? Or LuthorCorp. Here, they have Merrick Biotech. They always name the corporation like Stark Industries, Wayne Tech, after the name of the person. And have you ever heard of that actually happening? Much,
Yeah, I'm trying to think like big corporations that are like modern corporations are just named after like the person who founded them.
Yeah. It's just like I remember writing this thing and I always hated that, and I ended up making like a name for a corporation I actually really liked. And I'm like, dang, now I need to start a corporation just so I can name it.
You can use the name. So yeah, it's a Cadillac.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of another one. I thought that there was a Bugatti in here, but I guess it's not. I've never really cared much for that design of car. It looks kind of like a Corvette. It's the low slung kind of tapered front.
I mean, it's a car designed specifically for aerodynamics and then obviously style, but it's I weirdly went through a phase like many people did when Top Gear was at its peak, where I started to like get into car engineering and like how it works, and the idea that a Veyron needs 500 horsepower to get up to 200 miles per hour, and it needs another 500 horsepower to get up to 225, or that's not exactly right, but just like the exponential problems you run into the faster you go, and how the physical design of a car, and just how just as the problems become much harder to solve the faster you go.
Yeah,
and
I mean, engineering, especially of vehicles, is very interesting.
Yeah, when you get to that level of engineering, especially, but I mean, I think the thing with supercars to me. Oh, there's one missing.
Little Makarovs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I lost my. Okay, yeah, with supercars, the fact that so many of them end up looking basically the same is annoying. And again, it's because they kind of all have to like physics demands that they are somewhat similar if they're trying to hit similar targets of performance, right?
Okay, so there's this whole thing, right, with like the Cybertruck. A lot of people hate it, whether it's because they hate Elon Musk and Tesla, or because it looks kind of like a child's drawing of a future car. I kind of like it because it looks so different and kind of like a retro futurism that we don't have anymore,
Oh yeah.
And it's because, exactly like you said, a lot of these cars end up looking kind of the same after a minute.
They do.
Like
look at a modern SUV.
I like it when they diverge.
Like a modern midsize SUV, all of them look exactly the same.
Exactly. And part of that also has to do with economics. Like you don't have the midsize truck anymore because the United States puts tariffs on certain kinds of cars that are shipped in and charge certain taxes based on carbon output, so that certain car designs no longer exist because it's cheaper to just make the big ones and the small ones without making a midsize, economically speaking. The Sheila car. Oh my gosh.
The subtitles are really off.
Such a wimp,
by the way. Just like
what?
I feel like this is getting worse. The subtitles being off. Here, the whole driving with the door up, and I don't know, it's just this. So that we talked about that earlier action scene. It goes on way too long. It ends in just a ridiculous, over the top thing. This one's not too bad.
This one's a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah,
and then there's a lot more emotional weight to it.
There is, and I do think that this. This is a very classic scene, right? I mean, we can go. We did Star Trek 6, right? The whole, not me, you, him.
Yeah.
It's a well done version of that. I feel like they keep the energy up, and it's because the fact that he would have, the mercenary would have no idea.
And this building, Okay, like this is Michael Bay's favorite building.
Oh, he loves
or
torn
very
down.
similar.
Yeah.
This torn down kind of vaulted ceilings, beautiful thing. It's in all these movies. It's in multiple Transformers movies. It's in one of the Bad Boys movies. There's a random meeting of two people in one in, I think, Armageddon. Like, he loves this dilapidated, old, beautiful building.
Yeah.
Look, whether it's the same one or not, I'm not sure, but he reuses the same look over and over again.
Well, it lets him use two of his favorite things, which is low camera angles, because big vaulted ceilings let you do, let you do
orange
that.
Lighting.
And the old stone just looks good in that harsh yellow light that he loves.
And it's got that grit. Okay,
I actually kind of hate the fact that they showed the bullet like that in slow motion. It just looked weird.
It felt experimental to me in a way that I didn't mind, because it's not something that you saw a lot, because it was slow-mo without being like bullet time.
Yeah.
Also, weird gun, Sig Sauer P229, but like the sport edition.
Yeah.
Because the P229 is essentially what I have. I have a California legal version. Great gun. And this thing's like nickel plated, and it's got the longer barrel with that like tapered under. I don't like it.
He picks up the accent really fast.
Yeah. Out of state.
Yeah, and just even though he's got even the holster that like lets that kind of that sport compensator tip like show out through the bottom.
Yeah. Look how good this scene though is. The orange lighting on Ewan McGregor, the like the upward angle, the camera movement, just that really cool sweater vest combination they've got. Not sweater vest, but sweater and vest combination that they've got going for Jaimin Hansu. Beautiful shot. Really just shows off these two guys. They just look great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's very good.
Like, protagonist look.
There's always... How often is the perfect pile of green apples? That's like a thing.
I've never really noticed, to be honest.
It's got a little gun.
It's a baby gun.
It's a little girl gun.
It is kind of a girl gun. But yeah, it's so funny because when she opens up that case, it's got the Makarov, right? Whereas this thing is it's a Guardian. Okay. It has like a weird thing. I need to look it up. The NAA Guardian, the North American Arms Guardian pistol.
Yeah.
And it's not actually used in a lot of movies. It's actually a very rare gun to see in movies. It's only used in a few things like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Mechanic, stuff like that. It's a tiny little baby gun.
Oh, it's just like... It's just weird. Sorry.
It's so awkward.
It's just like awkward.
This line here coming up though. Wow, that tongue thing is amazing. Opening wrapping it. Apparently that was based on a real thing. Michael Bay actually said that to the first girl he like French kissed with.
Oh my
gosh. And he says like looking back on it was one of the most embarrassing things in his life.
That is one of those things that if you ever did that in real life, said that in real life, it would just be like horrifically embarrassing. I'm just mortifying.
Mm-hmm. Which is apparently what happened to him.
Yeah. Well, he's never been married. He's been a bachelor his whole life. I mean, not that he hasn't had girlfriends, I'm sure, but...
I'm sure he's been busy. Okay, There's this thing. I couldn't find the source of it, but there's this urban legend kind of thing that, because I couldn't find the interview, where supposedly Scarlett Johansson said that she wanted to do a nude scene for that sex scene, and Michael Bay said no because they were making a PG-13 movie. And all these people are like, Michael Bay, how could you? Blah, blah, blah. But I could not find any solid proof of it whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she had it in one of her films. I thought she's done a scene, but
Oh, she's done a lot of nude scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that one movie I was telling you about where it was like kind of the Species thing. She has a scene in there where she's just standing naked in front of a mirror, like examining her new human body. It's very awkward.
Okay.
Also, her boobs feel bigger in this movie than they do in other movies. It's just, I'm a guy. It's something I noticed.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
it's so funny that you bring up that this guy was in Black Hawk Down, because his name's Kim Coates. And I think of him as being like a really manly actor, but he's such a wet blanket in this thing.
Yeah. No, but he's played many like
this guy's got range.
Like men, yeah. Well, there's a group. I was listening to I was watching Michael. I've mentioned it many times in this podcast. Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You, and he's interviewed this guy. He's interviewed what's his name? He's been in a ton of it's wrong with my brain, dude. William Fichtner. You know who he is?
Oh, yeah.
William Fichtner.
Yeah.
Also, there's one more guy. Anyways, they're all friends, and they've all been in a ton. They've worked with Nolan. They've worked with Michael Bay. They've worked with Spielberg. I mean, they're actors who have kind of played bit characters, but with some of the like biggest names in the business. And have just been around, been working guys, and apparently a lot of them are friends and get along. And they were telling stories about just working with Cameron. I mean, even going back to some of them, knew like Michael Biehn back when he was kind of in his heyday. Working with Cameron and guys like Biehn worked with Michael Bay on The Rock. It's just there's kind of like almost like a fraternity, like a boys club of just like those guys. Mm-hmm. And he was one of those guys, and in an episode he was talking about it, and I'm forgetting some of the details, but it was interesting that these guys behind the scenes, there's like kind of this fraternity of male character actors that have kind of come up over the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and were in so many of these movies together.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize that.
Was like William Fichtner has been in so many things, and he was also a Delta in Black Hawk Down. That's one of the reasons I thought of him.
Yeah.
He's
a little bit more identifiable. Those of you who don't know who we're talking about, if you recall the beginning of The Dark Knight, which I think he's best known for, he's the bank manager with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Who the Joker puts the grenade in his mouth.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that every time he shows up, I enjoy him. He's a great character actor.
Yeah.
Again, a very distinct. He was in Armageddon. Like so many of these actors were in Armageddon. Like how many of these actors were in Armageddon and The Rock? A lot of them. Anyways.
Yeah, William Fichtner. For some reason, I always forget that he has an N in his name. I think his name's Fitcher.
No, Fichtner. Yeah, he also was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. So was Michael Biehn.
Oh, that's right. He was in Independence Day Resurgence. I've just lost all respect for him.
Oh, gosh. It's not their fault. They're in bad movies sometimes. Is the most effective way to do this to cut them all open? I'm just curious. Like, I mean, I know it's very visceral and, very cinematic.
I would actually think yes.
It's the most effective way.
Like, okay, imagine that you're in this situation. You need to dispose of them, right? They're in these big bags full of goop. Like, first you kill it with the thing. It's just like you cut it open, you let it die, you disconnect it, and then you just take the bag and wrap it and then dump it. I genuinely think that would be the easiest way to dispose of them. I think that it'd be better to like euthanize them first.
Ben and Jerry's coming up here. Oh, the watches. Yeah. It's
just this plan that they have isn't the best, but it's also not the worst.
Well, it's okay.
It's believable enough.
I disagree because this all counts on the fact that she just gets taken all the way in with a gun just in her pants. Like she never.
You're totally right.
Because they've set him up as like this hardcore mercenary. He's been around the whole world. You're saying he wouldn't give her a quick frisk?
And look at her. She's beautiful. You think that these asshole soldiers wouldn't give her a quick frisk?
They would absolutely give her a quick frisk.
They would absolutely give her a quick frisk.
A little frisk. Yeah, so it is to me, it's up there with the, and even right there, like, where is she hiding it? Just total midriff going on. I mean, it's just, I mean, yes, I know there's places she could hide it. I'm not ignorant, but
Wow.
it's up there with the key for me as just a total plot convenience. It doesn't make any sense that she just later on just pulls out a gun very casually and just starts shooting.
You are 100 correct. You 100 correct percent. My words just left me. I am no longer.
My memory leaves every time I record this, so it is okay.
I believe it. But yeah, this is very Black Hawk Down music. Very.
Well, what was her name? Lisa Gerard or Gerard. She did a lot of work with Hans Zimmer and some of his proteges doing vocal stuff with their, like, she was big on like the Gladiator soundtrack. She did all that stuff. She was in Black Hawk Down. She did a lot of work with them to do vocal stuff for the soundtracks. I think that's her name. Am I getting that right?
No idea. The sunglasses inside just
Lisa
kind
Gerard,
of to reinforce the douchiness.
Contralio voice. Anyways, yeah. She's just like done tons of vocal work on soundtracks.
Okay.
She does a lot of the oohing and awing and kind of, I don't know. There's a word for it where you're not saying words, but you're like kind of vamping musically. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's.
There's a word for that for that style.
As dramatic vocalizing. I'm sure that it has a proper noun. But yeah, they bring back this guy. He's still got the mark on his head from when she beamed him with the thing.
It's just he checks and then just. Ooh, he's such a. He's got a gun on him. Although it makes sense that it wouldn't search a really high profile client like that. That makes sense. But even here, like, they get her down under the thing. They haven't. Like, they're going to do surgery on her, but they haven't gotten her into a...
Yeah, that's stripped her yet, which I know that might sound perverted to hear, but that's something that they would do if they were going to be, prepping her for surgery. She'd be naked.
Yeah. It's just... It's this guy is such a...
Yeah, he's got a douchiness to him. For yeah, but, like, she just reaches down, and she's apparently keeping it, like, right there at her in an appendix carry. Like, they could have, like, set so many things up, and it also sounded silenced. It sounded suppressed.
Yeah, it was not a great sound effect for a gun.
Nope.
She's got some confidence,
her shirt
though.
Different.
What's that?
Her shirt looks different.
Well, it's longer.
Was it always longer?
No, I'm saying, like, all of a sudden it is appearing longer. It's when she was on the swing outside, it was like,
crappie.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all right. So they wrap this up.
Do you think she's a natural blonde?
I have no idea, actually. No, because I think she's got the brown roots. I think she's a brunette in real life.
I've seen that a couple times in natural blondes. I mean, I'm sure that hers is fake, but yeah.
I have no idea, honestly. Okay, the whole wrap up to this movie is interesting because I like parts of it. I kind of dislike that they went with a just straight up kind of physical confrontation between Ewan McGregor and Sean Bean. Not that they couldn't have done that well, but I feel like it I don't know. I get bored at the end of this movie.
Well, I know that what's the word I'm looking for? Michael Bay himself said that one of his biggest regrets about this movie was not being able to have a bigger, better climax. And apparently that was largely because of budgetary reasons. And they were running out of money. They couldn't, and they had already done, like, the big car chase and everything like that.
Oh yeah, they spent all their money with those hover bikes and the R on the side of the building. Well,
they really didn't need all that,
No,
and
they didn't. They could have
themselves a disservice.
Yeah, they could have cut that whole car chase scene down if they had just gone to the stuff coming off the semi truck, and then that works, and they get away.
Now, I do like this. This is a good scene.
Yeah,
it's a little too late, but it's still like it's solid, you know.
Well, yeah, this is where again there's a hint of a deeper film in here, and this is one of those scenes that gives you that tease of what this could have been.
This movie has it's the LaCroix of sci-fi. It's like just the hint. It's there.
The best. Sorry, I have to say this now. The best description, and I think Dan was the one who might have given this to me the very first time, was that LaCroix, like orange, specifically orange LaCroix, it tastes like somebody ate an orange and rinsed off their hands and then gave you that water.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. And of course, he gets one more little grandiose thing, little monologue here to really drive his God complex.
But this is a poignant little accusation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just that's what you're looking for, right? Or that's what you want? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I do remember kind of liking about this movie, okay? I get that. Imagine that you are theoretically in a position where you might be able to do something like that, and you're chasing this both not just for money but also for the good of humanity, but over time it's become so corrupted by your own vain ambition.
Yeah.
Like, I could see that happening. I can understand it on kind of a visceral level of like, now I get to be God.
I think that happens in modern pharmaceutical companies all the time, where there is just there is such tremendous good that is potentially there, but it's just buried under such a layer of greedy corporate just nastiness.
Yeah, I was about to say shenanigans for some reason. There's greedy corporate shenanigans.
I was thinking of a different S word, but I'm trying to keep it good for the kids. My kids listen to this.
Are you talking about Shibby?
Oh, my youngest daughter actually listens to us quite regularly. So,
oh shit!
I try.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Don't divorce her.
She's seen Die Hard. It's okay. That's the standard.
Yeah. My parents. I don't remember the first F word I heard in a movie.
I remember mine. It was a big deal. Yeah. My dad let me go. We got to go see Air Force One. It was the first R-rated movie I ever saw, like, without sneaking peeks. I mean, I snuck peeks from the upstairs as I was growing up, but it was the big first, like, it's rated R. My parents had heard it on good authority that it was barely R, is what they heard. They said the only F word was so Gary Oldman's accent was so thick you could barely understand it. And it was like this coming of age moment for me. I got to go to the movie theater and see Air Force One.
Wow, I love that movie.
Yeah, but then the next one after that was Saving Private Ryan, which was very rated R, even though it's fantastic. Okay, I swear the shot of the incinerator was just a reused shot of the jet from the bike thing earlier in the movie.
It could have been. They might have just used the same asset.
Yeah, I think I really wonder with Ethan Phillips' character that he was created just to have a character who's being led to the incinerator that is instantly recognizable. And, just kind of sad in a way that you feel a lot of sympathy for, because he's just like,
No, I believe it.
Yeah. Okay, now this, my daughter, when we watched this earlier this week, immediately she was like, when this thing all blows up, she's like, wait a minute. So just turning a lever the wrong way leads to that? That's a bad design.
Right. It's a really bad design.
That was her. Oh, that was her great observation.
Okay, I cannot remember the first R-rated movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's driving me nuts.
Would it have been like early to mid 2000s for you, right?
Yeah, because I don't think I saw any of the Matrix movies in theaters, so I don't think it was any of them.
I'm trying to think of like
I'm gonna have to
big
research this. Probably
R-rated movies from that era that would have been like. Did you see Gladiator? No, that would have been 2000. Too early for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But yeah, I remember watching this because I genuinely just never really gave it a thought when I was watching this when I was younger. But watching it with my wife the other day, I'm like, wait a minute, how did that explosion start?
Well,
How did this all go down?
Yeah, no, we again talking with my daughter about we talked about this in Judge Dredd. I remember a lot that this is one of those facilities where the walls are all built with explodium.
Right.
It's just like everything that like breaks just blows up for some reason.
It's that concrete from The Dark Knight Rises that somehow is mixed with plastic explosive.
Yeah. Well, I also think that they built this facility out of the same material that they built the Enterprise bridge out of. That when it explodes, rocks come out of the consoles.
Right. Oh God, I forgot about that. Generations.
Well, in yesterday's Enterprise is where it always stood out to me when Riker dies on the bridge. He's like lying in a pile of rocks. Ooh, that would suck.
Yeah, I feel like there was a way better way to do this. It didn't have to be this big mano a mano thing. I don't know.
It's also just very I mean, they're fighting with a big catastrophe in the background. Also too the fact that the main guy like didn't try to fix this like during the fight was I think a mixed thing. Like they were fighting over like the turbine control somehow, or I don't know. There's ways you could have had them in direct conflict and made it a little bit smarter than just I've got the cable gun and I'm just gonna try to get you with it. I don't know.
Well, to be totally honest, even with the volume turned down on this thing, that was so stinking loud that I couldn't hear half of what you said.
It's all right.
Michael Bay and his sound mixing, man.
He does. Oh, he got the sunlight, the bright sunlight. He loves that.
Yeah, the God rays and everything. Like Michael Bay shoots stuff like this so well. That there is this kind of emotion to it that you end up feeling. Also, what did he die from?
Well, he got shot in the throat with the thing.
Did he bleed to death? Did he choke? Like
he died from a broken heart.
Oh God, he Padma'd. No, it's weird.
I also wonder where is this light coming from? Aren't they underground?
Well, no, that they did explain. They actually showed it. That the collapsing turbines, the sun was coming up through it.
Well, yeah, but so there's one collapsing turbine, but there's light everywhere, and there's light they were down because it showed at the beginning of the movie them going
mirrors
in the elevator, and the light's coming from like the side in those shots of them all. They're like looking out the windows off to their left and seeing like sunshine like streaking straight in. I'm just saying.
Mirrors.
Okay. All right.
Okay, this music right here was used for a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like it was in TV shows and trailers.
Lots of trailers. No, the contrast to all the people in their white costumes against this dirt doesn't look really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they got a lot of extras in these Puma tracksuits and set them loose. Like run, right? Be free.
It's like, okay, but you all need to be fit. No fatties. It's a nice little happy ending. Djimon Hounsou's now a good guy, even though he like murdered cops and all this stuff. Like
it's a very like,
and he's finding his little friends because they murdered a bunch of his people too.
And he still got paid too. Like presumably before he went and saved them, he did pick up that check. I'm just saying.
Could you imagine all these other people, though, looking over and seeing these two, like, smushing their faces together when they've never even been educated on sex?
Yeah, they're like, what are you doing?
Like, everybody around them is just like, what are they doing? And they're suddenly all horny. This group of people is in for an awakening right now.
Yeah. You kind of need like a novelization of what happened after this, because too,
Oh
like,
my
what
god.
can you imagine though the fallout of this event, like on the world? Because I mean, how many powerful people would be exposed as being part of this, and all the cover up of like, oh no, we were told that they were, they were being kept, they never let them really grow up and all
Well,
that. I mean,
but that's like true though.
oh yeah,
Like it's the clients themselves aren't to blame at all.
no,
Yeah, assholes, but
yeah,
I
but there
don't
would
see
there
them
would be
as
an interesting.
villains.
Yeah, there'd be an interesting reckoning there. Well, not a reckoning. There'd be an interesting fallout of, what the company and the political and then that's it. Like just
I think
boom.
Reckoning is pretty decent.
Yeah. But I mean,
So
we just like they get his boat and then that's it. That's credits. Like we are just there is nothing.
they did not know how to end that movie.
Yeah.
You can tell. They had no idea what they were doing with this thing. Like they loved the concept, they loved the opening, that slow burn, what's going on in this facility. He was excited to do all this action, but endings are hard.
Yeah. They really are.
And they're sitting there going, "How do we end this thing?" And somebody just kind of shrugged and was like, "Explodium, tracksuits, boat,
Yeah.
done."
Well, yeah. You have an explosion. All the white, all the people in white running out in the desert, a kiss, and then the boat sailing off, and then don't think about it anymore. This movie is over.
Yeah. It's like the we don't need to think about it anymore. We're done. Oh, okay, you're right. You know what? That's fine. That's good. Yeah, just
Yeah.
it's
Okay. What would be
what
in
would
your
you
mind?
change? How would you fix this?
So I would be totally fine with a tighter, even more. This is gonna sound crazy. Even a more Michael Bay version of this movie that
Ugh.
that just doesn't even try to get into the implications. I'm not saying I would enjoy that movie. I'm not saying I want that movie, but I would enjoy it. What I actually really would enjoy, is a movie with way less action, or the action being much more of a cat and mouse, like when they get out.
I would describe my desire for a movie like this to be the action's just tighter.
Yeah. You don't need them falling from a skyscraper trapped in a slow in a like a logo.
Yeah.
No, see, but I would love to have. I like the beginning in that they take their time, that it is a bit of a mystery. I would make the villain less of a villain, like make him more of somebody who truly does have a god complex, but in a more nuanced way.
Yeah, I agree. One of my things is I think that they needed two villains. I think that they should have had Sean Bean's character, and they should have had some sort of head of security. And he's the one who's maybe even jealous of them being like having everything at their feet all the time and having a hatred of them. And he's the physical villain. Okay.
Hmm.
And he's the one who you end up fighting at the end because he wants to lash out and kill these things because he hates them. The clones. And then you can have a little bit more nuanced Sean Bean character, and he would probably end up dying at the end or facing some sort of prosecution. But I wanted just something that was a little bit more sensible than this businessman doctor and clone boy having a fist fight in a generator room. That just didn't track to me. What was Sean Bean even doing there?
Well, that's where I think they were trying to set that up with a, when he went and like kind of personally put down the other guy with the neck syringe, that they were trying to be like, he's taking this personal. He's just, he's mad. He's acting very irrational. It's just kind of nonsense.
Yeah. I don't like that something that started with such a well thought through, tight and interesting sci-fi intrigue devolves into nonsense.
Yeah.
That's like personally offensive. As weird as that might sound.
No, it's because there's so many good themes to explore in this. Like I said, there is just the science of cloning and genetic memory and human psychology trapped in a manufactured society. You got all that stuff
what
to
it
go
means
into.
to be human in general is such a
Are they
possible theme to
people?
explore.
What makes them people? Like what you got some classic Star Trek style conundrums there to dig into.
Do they have a soul?
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, you have the social implications of what this could mean. You have the the best of intentions kind of gone astray. That's where, I mean, having a reluctant. I like the idea of two. It's funny, you went to like a physical threat as one of them as like security guard. I think that would work just fine. Like, I'm not disagreeing that would be effective, but I almost would like, this has been done before. It's a little bit cliche, but stick with me for a second. The businessman and the scientist, where you split that, and you have the scientist who really believed in it for like a long, like really did fully want this to be something good and something amazing, and loved them and thought of all of them like almost like kids, and just was blind to what it had become. And then you had the businessman who was kind of, that very, have him be more of the caricature of just the evil, like you were a necessary tool to the scientists, but this was all about just an insane amount of money, the whole time. And yeah, that duo has been done plenty of times, but this story I think could really use that well if you got good actors and good writing for it.
You're not wrong. I automatically kind of kick against that because one of my most hated things right now in film is the fact that every villain right now is just your bland white guy businessman. I am so sick of it. And I want
Don't make
different
him white.
Villains. Imagine if you actually flipped it and you had it so that the businessman is just like, I'm saving lives. And he's into it. Make him like a retired finance guy who started this thing because he made like billions of dollars before he was 30, and he got into the biotech business because he wanted to save lives. And this is him like giving back to the world and community. And he has like this such a desire, maybe even for like redemption or something. And he's the one who's trying to sell this thing. And it's the scientist who's the bad guy, and the scientist who's like, I am a god. And it's just, there's a,
yeah, you can
as you were
reverse
saying
it
that,
for
that's
sure.
kind of how I was creating it in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that a more concise villain, as amazing as Sean Bean is, I think that the actual character development and growth, specifically of Lincoln and to an extent Jordan, is really good. And I like how it runs through that way. But the actual mechanics of what they're doing and their plots and their plans needed to be a little bit tighter, or not a little bit tighter. It needed to be more tight. It needed to make more sense. Maybe have a little bit of the character of Laurent having his heel turn a little bit earlier to explain how these two inexperienced and naive clones might be able to pull this off better.
Yeah.
It's just, I love the cast. I love the feel, the aesthetic, the cinematography, the music so much that I want my perfect version of this movie still keeps that intact.
Yeah.
While like spending the budget less on the absurd action chase sequence and more on the writing and ending and emotional impact. It's just, I think that this could have been Michael Bay's greatest achievement.
It could have been.
Like, it was so close.
And I think, and this is where, as much as I praise Michael Bay in a lot of things, I don't think he's capable of making that movie. I don't think he could.
I think at this time he could have, because this was before he was Michael Bay.
Maybe, but I mean, he went on to do, like, I think some of his best work was like 13 Hours. I think was genuinely good. And even to a lesser extent,
but again, he didn't write it.
No, he didn't. Yeah, even to a lesser extent, I think Ambulance was pretty good. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Ambulance was pretty excellent. Pain and Gain was actually really funny.
Yeah, like I almost would love to see what he did what he would do with this kind of when he got Transformers out of his system. Like he was just like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm tired of this. I mean, you're right. I don't know. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. He's a talented filmmaker, and I think that if he had the right person with him, maybe he could have. But I don't.
Well,
think
it's like
he would have the restraint to not just go for it.
You see, it's the exact same thing that we've talked about in the past with Zack Snyder and J.J. Abrams. They would do, and even Joss Whedon. I talked about this specifically with Joss Whedon. That they would do so much better if they had somebody like standing over their shoulder going, maybe we should do that a little differently.
Yeah.
They need that accountability. I think the Russo brothers pull that off really well. I think Lord and Miller, especially coming hot off of Project Hail Mary time of recording, would do like they have that accountability to one another. And yeah. I think that Michael Bay would be a really good co-director.
Yeah. Well,
another good example of that would be the partnership between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni with Star Wars. When the two of them were collaborating, it was the best stuff Disney Star Wars has put out.
Other than Tony Gilroy stuff.
Because, I'm sorry?
So other than Tony Gilroy stuff.
But, like, Dave Filoni is not a great director. But he understands Star Wars and what George Lucas wanted out of it, where Jon Favreau is a great director and has an enthusiasm for it, and they balance each other so well, which is one of the reasons why, despite having some reservations, I do have some excitement for the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu, which, if we're still making this podcast after that movie comes out, I'm sure that you're going to hear about, because I'm going to be like, either I told you or crap, I was wrong.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the hard thing is that, and I think earlier in Michael Bay's career, he would have been more susceptible to that, because he was probably more easy to give notes to, essentially, to have somebody who can be like, maybe because he is at the point where he doesn't,
less egotistical.
Yeah. Well, and even though he's made some smaller films now, he's a very powerful, rich guy who's had enough success that, he doesn't, I just don't picture him as somebody who, takes notes, right? Yeah. And the same thing with, like, at their peak. I mean, J.J. Abrams has definitely slid quite far down, but, again, somebody who just kind of, he does it his way. He doesn't really.
Yeah. Rise of Skywalker. Fuck that.
Yeah. Well. And then, Snyder, I don't know what's going on with him, man. He is capable of greatness in so many ways, but man, he's also capable of not. So it's, I always wonder with those filmmakers, because they always seem to be very, very driven people who are just singular focus, and when it all comes together, it's like magic. But when it's just a little bit off, it's, we've talked about this with George Lucas, just somebody who has so many gifts, but just struggles to not see their own flaws and where they need help. So, I don't know. I would love to see a better version of this movie, but at the same time, I would want to keep as much Michael Bay-esque qualities as you could have, while at the same time expanding the story to be just more interesting, more dynamic, more detailed. And I mean, you honestly could do that and not even make it much longer. You if you trim down the action and you got a little bit tighter with a few things. Well, I'm saying, if you wanted to develop it more, I think you would need to keep around 2 hours. I think if you wanted to explore all the themes in this movie, you need 2 hours, but you could do that by trimming other parts, and I think you would actually make those parts better in some ways by doing that also.
Yeah.
Anyways,
true.
It is a fun movie. This is one of those where IMDb has it. It was like 6.7 or whatever. I mean, yeah, 6.8. I think that's almost a perfect score in my mind.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing as I was looking at it. I'm like, you know what? Its Metacritic is maybe a little low, but I think that I think IMDb's is fair.
Yeah. Because this
doesn't deserve the vaunted 7 out of 10 that I give most pretty good movies, but it's...
How does it compare to Gods of Egypt?
This is a masterpiece. This is a freaking Rembrandt.
What I love is literally on the launch page for this on Amazon, right below, customers also watched Gods of Egypt.
Those customers need... Well, I think that's just because that's just individualized. Because customers also watched Big Trouble in Little China for me.
Yeah, I have that next to Gods of Egypt.
And 12 Monkeys.
Anyways, we should wrap this up. This has been fun. I'm glad we got to do a Michael Bay movie. I think this is our first one, right?
It is our first Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
I really want to do the first Transformers sometime. That movie is special to me.
Yeah. No, and I want to revisit the movie because I have not seen that movie in a long time. I remember liking it a lot. That's one that I have on DVD still somewhere. I remember the special color in the case.
DVD, retro.
But, and of course, like many men, I remember, images of Megan Fox under the hood of Bumblebee. I can't lie. That is definitely a memory I have. But no, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that. I'm looking forward to the first one. The second and third one, we'll get to them. But that's not next week. That will be sometime in the future.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you very much for spending this time with me, Brian. And you, if you are still listening, humble listeners, thank you. Talk about the crap.
There's doors and corners, kid. If you don't clear the room, if you don't come in slow, that room will eat you.